Greetings, this is Warrior King, and the time has come for the lions and the lioness to tell their own story. This is the lion's voice. Give thanks and praise for the wonderful blessing that's been poured on me. Give thanks and praise. Jah use I as an instrument to set the people free. Jah give her the powers to chant. Jah give her the powers to chant. Rastafari, the lion's voice.
Amina, the time has come for the lioness to tell our own story. No surrender, no retreat, we are Jaja soldier. Rougher than the streets, tougher than a boulder. Bigging up Lion's voice. Now put it, I jolly for say that.
Greetings, this is Rashilo. The time has come for the lions to tell their own story. See? This is the lion's voice. Keep it locked, right, sir? Rashilo said that. Are you satisfied? Wipe those tears from your eyes. I'm all alone, still you thought I was telling a lie. This is the lion's voice. Keep it locked, right, sir?
What are you waiting for? Come together, calling from near and far. Know who you are. What are you waiting for? Rally up, it takes the dust. What are you waiting for? Ancestors paved the way for us. Yes, I am Ketis Oyonde, asking, what are you waiting for to come together? The time has come for the lions to tell our own story. This is the lion's voice.
African pride, root of all nations, boy. I tried with the lion, the Rastafari. Lion of it tried with lioness like I do. Empress on the front line, we need you. Well, this is Medicine, the steady one, and you are now tuned in to the Lion's Voice Network. What the lion fought for do? Scorch them. Roast and parch them.
I will never stop, hail the Most High, and I will never stop, call Rastafari. Blessed love, this is Kushite representing for the Lion's Voice. We are here to tell our own story, Rastafari.
Empress Menen, and a young scientist. You're universally unfold, be told. Blessed love, this is Itege Idama, and it's time for the lioness and the lion's voices to be heard. This is the lion's voice, Rastafari.
Yo, blazing fire, yeah man, this is Ras out of Belize, and the time has come for the lions to tell our own story, right? Yeah man, we blaze fire, burning the wicked and the dirty vampire. Yeah man, Ras say that, blazing fire, lion boy.
The fittest of the fittest shall survive. My people, open your eyes, wake up. Blessed love, this is Queen Omega representing for all lions and lionesses. With the lion's voice, we come to tell our story. Rastafari, live it. Hey, the lion's voice, Rastafari.
Yeah, David Dread of Steel Pulse, and I'm saying hail to the lion voice because it's time that the lion have its voice, have its own story. Says I'm stepping out there. Hear me now. Yeah, the lion's voice. Raw.
I'm Nana Farika. The time has come for the lioness to tell her story from her viewpoint and tell the world who Queen Omega is. This is the lion's voice.
Lion voice, tell them that's the people first choice. Lion voice, make the lioness them feel nice. Lion voice, with the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion voice, got to show the people them the life. Lion voice. Haile Selassie the First of the Almighty. And this is the Charles Match Kwasi. Well, the Global Groundation, this one is for the black family. Well, since we're talking about the queens then, would I have to talk about Empress Menen? Well then, man a big up all him girlfriend, not nothing about Empress Menen. Well then, go and chant until the world end. Would I have to talk about Empress Menen? Well then, all the girls we defend, have to talk about Empress Menen. Well then, married in 1911, with a love that come from heaven. Well then, you can tell all of your brethren, she raised Haile Selassie children. Then, and she never deviate, never complain when the king a work late. Always got food up on the youth template. Oh, what a joy to see a smile on her face. So full of grace that she the Vatican hate. Well then, all the people rejoice, Empress Menen are the children's choice. Well then, since you're talking about the queens then, would I have to talk about Empress Menen? Well then, a man a big up all him girlfriend, nothing about Empress Menen. Well then, if we chant until the world end, would I have to talk about Empress Menen? Well then, all the girls we defend, have to talk about Empress Menen. Well then, well, the Jaya so daddy come with a dirty plan to come destroy the family. One come separate the king from the queen. With the Ottomans him come set up a dirty scheme. King Rastafari ride and come in and destroy those boys. We try intervene. Empress Menen so pure and clean. And this Selassie I may know say him a the supreme. Tell Babylon say ya dream them a dream. We come to burn down them romance scheme. Well then, since you talking about the queens then, half it about Empress Menen. Well then, coulda chant until the world end. Half it about Empress Menen. Well then, a man a big up all him girlfriend, nothing about Empress Menen. Well then, all the girls we defend, half it about Empress Menen. Well then, Queen Mother for the earth, remember she gave Haile Selassie youth birth. World War II she was so hard at work, heal all the soldiers when... Greetings in that divine name of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I. Glory and honor in the name of his chosen queen, Empress Menen. My name is Kwasi Bansu, aka the Chazmach Kwasi, aka Ras Kwasi, aka the Reading Ras, aka the Pan-African Happy Man. I'm a creative industry attorney, I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an actionist, and right now I am the host of Lion Talk Live. Welcome to Lion Talk Live and welcome to the Lion Voice Network, where the lions and lionesses are telling our own story. The time has come. Tonight we have a special episode, highly anticipated, a powerful panel. We are not sealing our coverage of Rastafari and Pan-African Sistren and their story, but our March, all Rastafari Sistren, all Pan-African Sistren, all month. That time is coming to a seal with the culmination. This is our third annual Empress Menen Day panel. For some of the item, Empress Menen Day was yesterday, and it's up in the wee hours because this is a global platform. One of our panelists is calling in straight from Shashamane. So we're going to hear some updates in terms of that situation. But this we have this panel and we find ourselves in an interesting time globally. It says that there shall be wars and rumors of war. This was one of the rumored wars since the early 2000s. I mean, some people can say going back to the 80s. It has finally become manifest. The global economic endpoint, this is one of the choke points of economic commerce and trade now, under a state of war. Global calamity, the whole press, everybody, it's a daily drum roll of what's happening. And it's touching regular people around the world because we've seen the price of gas, petrol, the price in the grocery store when we go and we try to buy food for our families. The impact is immediately felt, and this war becomes real. And more than that, this war was prophesied. We had an episode, we went into Ezekiel 38, Ezekiel 39, the Great War, the latter days, the war of Gog and Magog, coming down into Israel and the whole vibration. And this is not something that I just bring out. This is something that the people who are waging the war, this is one of the biblical passages that they're using to underpin and to justify their action at this time. So it's a serious war. It's a holy war. It started in the month of Ramadan. Right now it's Passover. Gideon is happening. And we, as Rastafari family, we were the ones who prophesied about this time. I tell people, when you hear about Bob Marley's most popular song, which was what? One love, one heart, let's get together and feel all right. What did he say in that song? Let's get together to fight this holy Armageddon, right? So even in, arguably one of the most popular songs by a Rastafari creative, this concept of a global Armageddon, this concept that there would be a time that I and I have to come together, it is so relevant. And as we celebrate Empress Menen Earthstrong, in the 1930s, Empress Menen first came into the world consciousness for many at another Armageddon time where there was a global catastrophe on the brink, which started with the Italian invasion of Ethiopia. And Empress Menen found herself in a place of war. We're going to go deep into that history tonight, family. So get yourself together, get yourself ready. We have academics, we have frontline soldiers, we have dignitary. I mean, the panelist is powerful. We have iconic figures here, all Rastafari sistren coming together to highlight, but also to reflect in this Armageddon time. What is the role of the Rastafari woman, the Pan-African woman? Women are the pillars of our culture, of our community. It said that your mother is your first teacher. How do we prepare ourselves for what is ahead? Because hard times are ahead, believe it or not. We were early on this channel, sounding the trumpet, not because the Chasmach Kwasi has the ability to foresee in the future, but because as a young Ras coming into the Livity, these were the sounds my elders taught to be prepared for this time. And it's not an overnight, we're past the stage where we think, because no man know it the hour or the minute. So it's not a doomsday, doom and gloom, tomorrow, sell your things, although it can get there, don't get me wrong. But it is a realization that we have never left the state of war since we were taken from the African continent. We've been in a continual state of war. And now we find ourselves at the culmination of a journey. And that culmination requires us to sacrifice. It requires us to focus. It requires us to live what we say we are. And that is one of the things that gives us great joy is that everything that our elders told us to prepare us for this time stands true, whether it be the herb as the healing of the nation, whether it be the Ital Livity, whether it be international black repatriation, whether it be the unification of Africa, all of these central tenets that our elders passed to us, all of them have been proven correct, the right direction. Everything that we read from the speeches of His Imperial Majesty has been proven correct. His Majesty said international morality is at stake, and we see now what happens when the nations follow their own path and choose to disregard His Majesty path. He said that the dream of lasting peace would be but a fleeting illusion to be pursued but never attained, you know. And what was the vision that he outlined? World citizenship, the rule of international morality, you know what I mean? These are lofty goals, you know. This is a oneness of humanity, and these things are in the balance now. What is the role of Rastafari people? What is the role of the Rastafari family? This is the question we're going to ask tonight, family. We have an esteemed panel here. We are praying. Last year, we had over 100 people on the live. And this year, we're hoping to double that. So make sure you share this, send this out. I know it's Friday. I know some people are holding their Sabbath. So we pray that this is acceptable food that can nourish. And remember that this is a time of war. So when your donkey is in the well and it's on the Sabbath, you still have to go take out the donkey. So our people in this time need to reason. We need to come together. So even if it's on your Sabbath, send it to your brethren on your Sabbath and say, brethren, a battlefield, a wartime, we need to, you know, what do you think about what these ones are saying? How can we come together? How can we pool our resources for this time? And so, again, we're going to ask all of the guests to also share their individual links, whatever causes, whatever they're doing. And we're going to ask the global family to pour out your pockets. Let us feed our Rastafari Pan-African ecosystem. Investment, capital movement. These are the tools that we have to fight this Armageddon war. Every mickle, mecca, muckle, one cocoa, full basket. These are the weapons and the tools that we're going to use. By scale, you know, we have over 66,000 subscribers. Big up all of the Lion Pride. So I'm only talking to the Lion Pride. If you're a casual subscriber, big up yourself. We give thanks for the presence, but I'm talking to the Lion Pride. If 50,000 of us spend $10 at one time, we have produced $500,000 in capital with one coordinated movement, and it didn't cost any individual more than that $10 that they put into that pool. Our vision is that every Wednesday, every Saturday, we can make that happen for one of our guests who we bring to the table, that we would come together and we would capitalize, fund their mission. You know, we bring people who are doing positive work to the table. Everyone on this panel is doing positive work. Why are we not funding that work? This is the question I want us to ask ourselves. We are funding Netflix. We are funding all kind of things. We have flat screen TV, you know what I mean? We have fund a $50 bag of ganja every strong to make sure the meditation right. We're doing a lot of funding. But are we funding our institutions? Are we funding the people who are doing the work? Why is it that every time I talk to someone doing Rastafari work, they have economic struggle? You know, as a rule, I'm not talking about the exception, your brethren from down somewhere. Yes, we know about him and we're glad for him too. I'm talking about, as a rule, the majority of the ones doing the heavy lifting are ones who are not economically in the place that they should be in relation to the amount of work that they are putting in And that is because we are not investing in ourselves. We have no one to blame, no sky god. You know what I mean? There's no savior that you don't know about coming to come and lift you out of your situation. Is I and I same with the same people where you don't like see sometime and you quarrel with them sometime. And them same people in this hour who have been treading from that time to this time are gonna be the people that we must come together and rise Rastafari banner to the four corners of the earth, that the people may know that he is him and Empress Menen at the balance. Is I and I have to do that. So I say all of that to say, family, let us not just watch this panel as you know, as bystanders or edutainment, but let us be active part of the history. As the Lion Pride, you have already clicked the subscribe button, meaning that we're like-minded. There's something about what was happening here that made you click that subscribe button. So as like-minded brethren and sisters, let's go that extra mile now and say, all right, how can we liberate ourselves? We can fund and invest in ourselves, one cocoa full basket. You know what I mean? So that is what we are asking. We have so many ones that are coming to the table in the coming months, and all of them could use that strength. Big up Jalifa. We had Jalifa this morning. This afternoon, exclusive. One of our young artists, she wants to do a record an album. So again, we're asking one support. Why do these artists have to struggle to get funding to do the projects that we love? We complain about the music our children are consuming, but we're not funding the artists that we want our children to listen to. That don't make sense, and we're the only community that operates in that way. Every other community is funding themselves to do the things that they want get done. They're not coming to the government to fund them. So I and I have to do it, and we're confident in the victory. All right, family. I have to block my sound, and again, Women's History Month seal up today. We celebrate or celebrate the life of Empress Menen. I'm going to introduce our panel. Also, special guests are joining us tonight. The daughter of the great Leonard Percival Howell, Honorable Sister Kathy Howell, is joining us. This panel is historic. Get your ital snacks. Get all of your things them together. I'm asking all of our panelists to get on camera so we can get ready for the introduction. This is, turn on all of the cameras, please, so we can see our panelists. This is going to be epic. Epic, epic, epic. All right. Warm welcome. Big up Frontline Books. Big up all of our sponsors. Royal blessings, one and all. Sister Catherine, can you put on your camera, please? Everyone unmute themselves. Royal blessings. What a joy. What a joy in Zion. The beautiful daughters of the Almighty have assembled.
Yes, I. Yes, I.
Wow.
Yes, praises and thanks.
Yes, we're gonna save the eye for the ceiling. I'm gonna ask our Queen Mother, who's in Shashamani, to open us up. Can you just open us up with a Isis, Mama Ascali, and then introduce the self from Zion? Hold on, you're muted. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. I think that might be I. Are you okay? Go ahead.
One, but it's downstairs.
Talk, let me hear.
Empress Menen is the queen of queens. Let us all rejoice today. Empress Menen is the queen of queens. Let us all rejoice and say, She was crowned with the King of Kings. She was crowned with the Lord of Lords. So rejoice, Ethiopians, rejoice, rejoice, Ethiopians, rejoice. I love the verse where it says, Empress Menen is the Queen of Queens. Daughters of Zion, weep no more. Empress Menen come to open the door. Yes, I, honored guests. Rastafari, I give thanks. Yes, here I am in Sheshmali, the gift land from the royal house of Kidamawi Haile Selassie and Empress Menen by his side. So just to greet each and every one. So happy to hear the names of the panelists and all of each and every one. We're so connected. I don't know, you know, and I are all on it, you know, we're on the duty. And we have to, the psalm for now that came to mind is, make a joyful noise unto the Lord, all ye lands. Serve Kidamawi Haile Selassie with gladness. Come before his presence with singing and thanksgiving. Know ye that the Lord, Kidamawi, the Lord of Lords, is the Almighty. It is he that hath made I and I, not I and I by myself. Yes, I and I shall be like the tree that is planted by the rivers of water. As mothers, we sure are. As sisters, as representing Empress Menen in this hour, because this is the important task. We are serving a visible Empress. I am so thankful to the Most High that in 1998, when he gave her the vision of Empress Menen and said, in my vision, first I got the elders of the nation. Seen, not everyone in the vision were dreadlocks in all the visions, because I had the same vision for 6 weeks. And at the end of the vision, when I asked him now, what am I to do? What am I supposed to do? Then across the computer screen came Empress Menen Foundation, Empress Menen Foundation. Those of the item who have the Empress Menen Foundation calendar, the same font that is across the top of the calendar, the Empress Menen Foundation, is the same font that was in my vision. Okay, I know it's upside down, but yes. So the same font. So the Empress Menen Foundation, educating the community to empower the nation. And those are the lines that came on the computer screen in my vision. And I'm telling the item that, you know, the most incredible thing of all of that was His Majesty command, make my Empress visible. Make my Empress visible, 1998. Yes, I. And here we are today, celebrating her Earthstrong all over London Sea. I'm telling the item because the Empresses have to take the front line, you know, because we can you know, quarrel on, say the man them get weak and soft and what have you. No disrespect on that to the ones that know what I'm talking about. But at the same time, it's a time for I and I to rise. This is why it is time that I and I is rising. And through the powers of Her Royal Highness, my dear, the Empress choice, you know, because of our Holy Mother, I and I can really shine in these times and do the works. Oh my goodness, if the item only know what it feels like to be in Ethiopia, touching Empress Menen. I visit and work with the Empress Menen alumni in Addis Ababa, situated in Addis Ababa. They're 95 years old last year. The first boarding school, all-girls boarding school on the whole continent of Africa was started by Empress Menen in 95 years ago, which is right here in Addis Ababa, very close to the palace and very close to Tafari Makonnen, celebrating 100 years last year, boarding school, which is just up the road from Empress Menen's school. 5 years later, she actually did that in the year of the coronation. I think that her school was established. But I work with the school. I've been visiting, and it's really an honor to be so connected. So connected. So with with the essence of Ethiopia and the essence of our Royal Majesty, the Imperial Majesties, and their families to a lesser degree, but because the knowing of them is just beginning for
Yes,
it's not it's not it's not about like settling. It's a everyday newness. Every day there's a visibility about Empress Menen that I never saw before. Every day, we are planting food. We don't know how many gardens Empress Menen right now. Actually, in Addis Ababa, you can't come to Ethiopia unless and don't visit in Addis Ababa Empress Menen Gardens. Okay, I did a big feature on that in one of my calendars in previous years.
I don't want you to get too deep yet. Let's go through the introduction. There's so much sweetness. It's too much. It's too much sweetness. Make sure you share this one. This one is extra classic. With title on top. All right, we're gonna go through just the introduction, and we're gonna come because it's 3 a.m. family in Ethiopia. So Mama had a nap. She's ready though. Back of field. She Naya being the warrior, so she's ready. She's ready. All right, Empress Jalala, can you introduce yourself?
Greetings. So I am Empress Jalila, member of Empress Menen Rising.
Yes.
And Empress Menen Rising is a collective of Rastafari and African daughters inspired by the life of Her Imperial Majesty, Empress Menen, and committed to upholding her virtues through initiatives that educate and uplift the youth, women, and communities. Through, the works that we do, and we are inspired to fulfill the mission of the Ethiopian Creed. And that is that the hungry be fed, the naked be clothed, the sick nourished, the aged protected, and the infants cared for.
Mightyful. So big up all the Empress Menen Rising. We're going to talk about the rise of all of these institutions around the Rastafari family globally in her name. Because that is something that is relatively new. So we definitely give thanks. We have another representative of another collective. Empress Carla, can I introduce yourself?
Greetings, one and all, in the name of His Imperial Majesty Haile Selassie and His Empress Menen Asfaw. I give thanks for the opportunity to be here this evening. It's a privilege to be on such a panel. I am representing the Empress Menen Asfaw Collective. We started off as the Empress Menen Atlanta Collective, but several of us are no longer in Atlanta, although we do have our conference every year virtually. We came together as an organization, of course, to represent Empress Menen, to share the word about who she is and what she means to us as Rastafari women, and then also to continue her legacy as Rastafari women. As the other sister said, and forgive me with the name, but the creed, of course,
Yes.
our initiatives include making sure that we visit a nursing home, we do donations and things of that nature. We do, or we have done in the past, feedings for the homeless and things of that nature. And so again, I'm just very happy to be here with everyone this evening, and I look forward to what this evening holds.
Give thanks, give thanks. I'm going to come down to the Dr. Asantewa, and just introduce myself and the works.
Peace and blessings, love and greetings. This is Dr. Asantewa Pongwadier from Illinois, more specifically Chicago. It's a privilege and an honor to be here. Give thanks to Judge Kwasi. I don't know where to start. I have been on the platform a couple times. So basically, I guess I would share about myself that I am a mother of 4, wife of 28 years, a homeschooling mom of 4, 3 of which have matriculated through college and graduate school, only one more left homeschooling. And the founder of Empress Menen Day Chicago. So this is our 11th year.
recognizing Empress Menen in this city. And full disclosure, I was in the VI with a great sister who actually went with me to Africa the first time. We ended up in the VI, and I saw the VI daughters on St. Croix, the island of St. Croix, celebrating Empress Menen Day. They had the flyers up, and I was just, I was moved beyond words. Like, there's no reason why Chicago should not have this. And so came forward, and that has been the strength. That's what we've been doing for 11 years. And out of that grew, because it was so attended by the Pan-Africanist community here in the city. They asked for more information they could take home on Empress Menen. So the Empress Menen Chronicles came out of Empress Menen Day Chicago.
Mightyful. So we are going to come forward. I have to be fully transparent as well. Dr. Santo is one of my favorite guests on the platform. I have to be transparent because, you're not supposed to have any favorite guests, but I'm a human being. Leave me alone. I'm working on myself. All right. Attorney Cheryl Murray Powell, the international president of the Ethiopian World Federation and president of Local 12. Please give us an introduction.
Yes, greetings in the name of His Imperial Majesty and Her Imperial Majesty. Greetings to you, Tejas Kwasi, and thank you for your work and contribution by having this Lion Voice Network and allowing our stories to be told and recorded into perpetuity. So it's very important that all of these perspectives are shared. I am Cheryl Murray Powell, Esquire. I am the international president of the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated, and as mentioned, also president of Local Charter 12, based in Queens, New York. It is an honor to serve. We are the government of the Black people of the world. The Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated was founded in 1937 by Royal Imperial Charter and stands till this day. Our focus is around trade with Africa, elevation of ancient Ethiopian culture, executing the vision of His Imperial Majesty, and ensuring that there's a soft landing when it comes to repatriation for those wanting to return home to Africa. We also have interests and strategies around reparations and restitution for the harm that's been done to the Black people of the world. I'm also a cannabis agricultural dietary supplement trade, regulatory, and now immigration attorney. All the areas of law that I practice are for the people, and I look for where we have underrepresentation, and that's how I've chosen my areas of practice with regards to the law. We are in unprecedented times. Unity is our goal. And for my administration, the focus of the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated has to do with recruitment and making sure that all the Black people of the world are aware that we are here, and this gift that was given to us by His Imperial Majesty, utilizing as a conduit Dr. Meleku Bayan and Princess Dorothy Bayan, is available to all Black people of the world. Reclamation, so we're reclaiming our members who may have been distanced for whatever reason over time. We want you to come back to us. Reparations, as mentioned, repatriation, restoration of our hearts and minds and our patriotic spirit as Africans, reforming laws that are in the jurisdictions that we live in, but also reforming our internal practices to make sure that we are aligned with our Constitution and bylaws, and also aligned with the vision of His Imperial Majesty. And then finally, relief from financial insufficiency. We are royalty, we are regality, and we deserve to have a treasury that we can use for our aims and objects. So thank you for having me here today. It is an honor to sit amongst the women who are on the dais today, the virtual dais. I'm looking forward to learning from all of these women who have studied the works of Empress Menen, and I am looking forward to contributing as well. Federation Rising, Rastafari forever, and blessings to all the homes represented here today.
Give thanks. give thanks. And then we have a special guest. This one, it's a great honor, great elder, esteemed historian in our own right, accomplished professional in our own right, but also the daughter and the precious fruit of the man who really sparked the global movement that we see today. The man who, had the competence, and we have to emphasize, because Pinnacle was not just happenstance, you know what I mean? When you get deep into Pinnacle, you see that this was an extraordinary operation by an extraordinary mind. So help us to welcome our beloved elder, Sister Kathy Howell. Blessings.
Greetings. I guess I put my mic on, or is it on?
It's clear as day, clear as day.
Okay. I say greeting in the name of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I of Ethiopia, King of Kings, Lord of Lords, conquering Lion of the tribe of Judah, and the Elector of the world. I bring greetings to each and every one of us on this forum, celebrating the achievement and the gift of a wonderful co-ruler of Ethiopia, Empress Menen. And today I just want to say this as a Rasta woman, a true born Rasta woman. You ask about the role of a Rasta woman. And if we look at the life journey of Empress Menen, we wouldn't have to even ask such question. But let me just remind ones and ones on this forum, because I grew up in a little, it wasn't really a little, because Daddy started off with 2,000 acres of land, and before he died, it became 500, which we have been agitating right now to have portion of the land to be a heritage site. But let me say this. The Rasta woman, she is wise and strong. She is a wise and strong individual who builds up her home, family, and community through honorable action. She takes time to meditate on Jah word as if it was the very food that nurture her body. She thinks of it as something that she cannot live a day without. And I have to say this because right now we're living in a serious time, and without the word of Jah and your meditation, you just lose it, especially with the media around you.
Yes.
The Rasta woman pray without ceasing. She handles her stress and anxiety by meditation and prayer and supplication with thanksgiving. Jah Rastafari.
Aye.
She lived for service in her community, bearing one another burden. She's compassionate and extend her hand to the poor and to the needy. She speaks with wisdom and bring kindness to her relationship, honor her husband, her children, and to be supportive. Stand beside him as a co-partner and respect the relationship that she has with other. And if you look at Empress Menen life and the time she lives, you will understand what it takes to be a Rasta woman. So at this time, I want to say it's an honor to be here. And I just want to give other people a chance before I do a closing argument regarding Empress Menen.
Okay.
So I just wanted to sign off on that for right now. Give thanks.
Give thanks to the I. It's really surreal for I as a young Ras, even though I have a little gray on my beard, I feel like a young man to see all of this power in one place. And I know that as a people, you know, as a chosen few internationally, we are just scratching the surface of our potential of if we come together or when we come together. It's not a if anymore. It's when, and just how we can be strategic about putting all of these pieces of the puzzle together. Before I start, I want to acknowledge Ras Roots, one of our Lion Pride and Patreon, with a $20 contribution. Mighty, beautiful panel. Give thanks for the ones, works, and the presence of Sister Mama Ascali, Sister Cheryl Murray Powell, Esquire, Sister Empress Jalela, Sister Empress Carla, Sister Dr. Asantua Pong Wade. So big up from our Lion Pride and Ras Roots again. Apologies, he missed the mighty Sister Catherine Howell as well. So that's our Lion Pride family. Last year, we raised the most money we ever raised for the channel on the Empress Menen panel, and it was mostly sistering. So Ras Roots is setting the precedence this year that the brethren will not be left out of the giving. So big up yourself, Ras Roots, for that. So I'm going to pivot to... I'm coming to the eye. I'm coming to the eye.
Yes, I know. I just want to say how lovely all the sisters, Sister Cathy, everyone is looking so beautiful. Rastafari, we have flowers in your garden. Everyone is looking so lovely. Give thanks to I them, man. Fresh.
Yes, I'm coming to the eye because I'm very cognizant that it's way up in the hours. So I want to start with the eye because this is not this. I call this panel because of is a wartime that we're in, and Sister Ascali, Mama Ascali, is on the front line of one of the throne room battlefield, which is she's in Ethiopia. And I want you to, first of all, give us the history that the eye is aware of Empress Menen during wartime and what we can learn from her in terms of her wartime settings. And then let us know in terms of what you're experiencing right now. We were talking about some of it off camera in terms of no one in Ethiopia is wearing red, gold, and green now because of politics except for the Rastafari people. So every time Empress Ascali step out, it's a statement, and she represents, imperial dignity, and she's telling us about how the people are receiving her, people saluting her, all these things, because they don't have the ability to wear their colors, but Rastafari people have that ability. So talk to us about Empress Menen wartime, and then I'm going to go to Dr. Asantua. She has a presentation because I want her to set the historical table about Empress Menen during the war. I have some questions for her as well. And then I'm going to open the floor. So after each of these Sistren reasons, I'll open the floor so any of the other panelists that want to jump in on what they have said are able. But I do want us to start off with the historical context. But I also want to give Mama Ascali, because it's very early in the morning, a chance to just share her wisdom while she's still fresh with us. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. I'm honored to be here in this audience to give thanks and praise to the Most High. Blessed be our Holy Mother, Empress Menen Asfaw. Yes, my cunning if we're looking at it in real Western terms. Give thanks and praise. No, we're not. We're here in Ethiopia. For this man was born here. Yes, I so first of all, my role in seeking knowledge of Empress Menen has been more on our educational side of it, because even during the war, she was about making sure that the children of the soldiers were being cared for and being looked after, and school was, they were getting educated and prepared. There's history of Empress Menen work in the early villages when His Majesty was Prince Regent, and there are villages where the whole family are breaking stones, to make the paving stones, which is part of, everyone knows it's part of the Ethiopian road system. Anyway, just to say that, on the whole, the family education of Empress Menen, advancing women's education in Ethiopia and to the world, the Empress Menen Menen alumni in Addis Ababa, they are the ones who are, the older one, they're older now, they're all professional, the ones that are still with us. But their children, their daughters, who were also Empress Menen students, as maybe nursery age kind of coming up at the time, those are now the alumni stalwarts. And every one of them is professional women standing strong, like I and I. It's a strength to see the sisters, and the way that we have to carry the nation, because it was Malcolm X who said back in the day, what, educate a man, you educate an individual, educate a woman, you educate the nation. And these are words of my youth and growth that, stayed with me to recognize some inner power that I and I all have. And, educating the community to empower the nation. This is vital for the Empress Menen Foundation. And all of I and I, that is, I and I recognize that every one of I and I are Empress Menen Foundation members and hearts, because we represent Empress Menen. That's what I and I do. And we represent all the amazing things that she's doing, man. She did incredible things. And when I say she's inspiring all of I and I in the same way. That now it's like, I know many of I and I right here are saying, there's time when you say to Jah, you wish there was 10 of you. At least 10 of you, because the amount of things that you need to do, the amount of things, the amount of works that must be done. You're saying that when I and I say that prayer, oh Father, I wish there was 10 of me, because I forgot, I'm going to need to do this. How am I going to remember? I can write things down because I'm old school, I'm ready. But in the Irish, when you send out those words, when the item send out that word sound, it's the universe that take it, You see, all the ones in the earth who can help the eye fulfill the eye mission, whichever the mission the eye is on, in the name of Empress Menen, in the name of the nation, in building the nation, whichever mission it's on, the eye is on, that sound, send it out to the universe, so that all the angels who are there to strengthen the eye will come forward, no matter where you are and wherever you are in the eye works. So this is empowering the nation, and that's the task of Empress Menen Foundation. And right here in Ethiopia, it's wonderful, because being just the love from the community, I must tell the item, it's a real joy. When I go, I was just 1 month away from Ethiopia, from Shashamane, and I was feeling the vibration. I missed home in the 1 month. I was on some serious works, right? Serious works. Give thanks and praise, I came through and was able to return forward safely, because I must be always aware that, there's always going to be stumbling blocks, there's always going to be challenges, man, in the works. Whatever it is the eye is on, there's always going to be challenges, but we have to make the sacrifice. That is the important thing, because giving, His Majesty says, giving demands, as give the whole quote, wise minds know the pervading truth. It is better to give than to receive. But giving demands sacrifice, and I are sacrificing in our service to the nation. Each and every one of I. There's many of I who's written books. I've come up with games and children books, as a long-term educator and teacher. There's many maths resources I've written for Rastafari Nation, but not published. But we have the works, we are creative beings, and all of I here, are on this mission. Right now, we are representing Empress Menen. So one can see by I works and I actions, that's the position. And that means also, the joy and the love and in communicating with each other with the greatest respect at all times. So we keep that regality, that royalty, as a natural order, so you recognize, I cried tears of joy when I arrived back in Addis Ababa and arrived in my compound, as it were. The youths, one of those big block of flats with only Ethiopian people. I'm the only so-called foreigner, not foreigner at all. And of course, it's important for me to be right there. Everyone knows me because I am the one in the place. But the youths, this is what got me when I returned this time, man. I don't even know where they came from, man. As they saw me walk into the compound, they came from everywhere and were hugging me. And, it was just awesome. I'm telling you, why are you crying? Why are you crying, Mama Scully? Why are you crying? I'm crying tears of joy. I'm crying tears of joy to be with you and to get that love that we have for each other. It's awesome, It's awesome. So, give thanks and praise for the representation that I can, various ways. And in connecting with Empress Menen alumni and her people know her works, people know of her. When you say Empress Menen, when you show the calendar or the Ethiopian trivia game that I've just created, it's a preservation of Ethiopian culture and history. It's part of the constitution of the EWF in educating Ethiopian and keeping Ethiopian culture and history alive. And in terms of the woman's role, I have a very important role in the whole of the nation and the nation building and by our works. And again, the 15 grandchildren I have now, that's a whole bunch of ones. That's coming from my DNA straight. I am when I say this in Ethiopia, everyone says, "Oh, Xavier, bless you, Xavier Barakat," straight, because it's just how do I manage to keep myself? It's only through the powers of the Almighty, man, right. And by faith in Him and knowledge, say everything is gonna be all right, no matter what is crumbling around I. Because today I was visiting. After the bingy ices from the morning come through, after having the banquet, there was a pause. And there's so many things going on in the community in Sheshamani, despite what we're going through in terms of the challenges, the turmoil, the acts of wickedness and psychotic behavior by the leaders of the place, just abject hatred for the people of Ethiopia, man. That's what you're seeing without any question. What can anyone eat green areas? Look at Sheshamani. Sheshamani is already full of green areas, but Sheshamani's country is bush. You see what I'm saying? So now you're gonna knock down people's work things and places of homes. Imagine Sister Sharon. I know she's of a lighter hue, but she's been living there in Sheshamani on the land guard for 40 years, right? And in her compound is many ones from the 12 tribes of Israel, mostly, but it's about 5 or 6 different Rastafari who live in her compound. For 40 years, this has been going on. So now they just come through. Nobody said anything to them about what was going to happen. They just she heard the bulldozer and the noise. And when they look, half of her wall was gone already, and she stood out in front of the bulldozer, and they bring the local cabaret and saying, "Get out, everyone! Get out, everyone!" And when the cabaret come, the people then tell them all now, because everyone is up on the at there saying, this is going to be a green area. It's going to be a park. Your compound is going to be a park. So all of you have to move. Yes, we're going to compensate you. Nothing in writing. Nothing for sure. You see what I'm saying? It's not, this is the heartbreak now. It's just a destructive thing, and their promises don't make no difference, because the place that some of the ones that moved from there, gone to other places to stay, and those places are waiting to be marked. My place is waiting to be marked for knock down my wall and the front of my house that I've got there. I'm in a back part of another house, right? But I've got a new house. So what I'm saying is that we are all in some tense situation. So some are affected already, but I've been waiting for my road. Them said they're gonna come and knock down everything. I waited 3 years after they gave me the instruction to move my fence back. I waited, I moved my fence 5 meters back, right? My front. And then I waited 3 years before I built my wall. Seen? Before I built my wall. And the 3 years that I waited to build the wall, I built the wall, and it's been 4 years since I built the wall. And now they're coming to say they're gonna knock it down to rot it. Just after I was feeling so secure that I started building another house in the front, because the rent in Addis Ababa, because to the pose of the most side, let me tell you, the little that we have in the West, man, little that I have as a retired school teacher from the UK. I could not live in England and not brethren and sistering. There was no way that father would have me live in that environment without taking nothing from them, because you see, the minute you take anything from them, you're tied to them, and they can come after you for this, that, and the other.
Of course.
But guess what? Even though I deliberately, I'm going to share this with the item, because this is one of the things I had to go and sort out over them, man. Babylon now ramp. You see, now these wicked times that we live in, a real Armageddon time. Let me tell you, England might be talking, they're not interested in the war. The item is watching. They're not interested in the war in Iraq, between Iran and Israel and America. They're not interested in that. But they have the opposition leader, who's a black African woman, who's calling the prime minister of the country, the white people, that the man is a coward for saying that. She is pushing like an idiot. She don't even realize that she's just a puppet being used by the whole system. I don't know where them get you from. Anyway, that's another matter. But I'm just saying that in that Babylon system, what the people them do, when I first became a pensioner way back years ago, because yes, I am so blessed to be 75 years this year, to the powers of the Most High. To the moment we had this last year. So what I'm saying is that when I became a pensioner more than 13 years ago, right? They showed me all about this thing that say, if you're on credit, if you take the thing when you're in pension credit, which is extra money to top up your pension, if you take that thing, then it means that you can't go anywhere for 2 weeks without telling them before you go and after you come back.
Wow.
Right? You cannot go anywhere. It means that, yes, they will give you extra money and help with this other thing, like your housing. Yes, them will give me extra money and help with it. Them offer you all these things. Me say, Ratty, no, sir. Me no want none of that. I them know also that say I have me a travel all over the world in his holy name. You see me? So where am I going to be accepting nothing like that? Rastafari, brethren and sistering. We never know nothing could have go so. After 13 years of my refusing the thing, me reach forward just for one little month and some other mission now. What if I think Babylon just open some, like them know. The woman called me up and she told me, say, look, you must be aware that we work with all the agencies, so we know. We're going to send you a form to fill out to tell us about your travels in Ethiopia. Okay? Excuse me? He said, why is that your business? Why is that your business? You're the woman. Because you're on pension credit. We're entitled to know when you're leaving the country. I said, excuse me, no. I am not on this thing, right? Wait, now, so when was that? When was I supposed to be there? I know that I did not sign anything to agree that. I know that I did not do that.
Yes.
So, when is it? Can you give me a date? She gave me a date when I wasn't even in the country. We say, all right. Mr. Tuar said, okay, so just go ahead and send me the form that you're sending me to get her off of the phone. And when I get her off of the phone now, me run to my bank, right? Me run to my bank and find out, say, So rotted. The dirty people, I did ask her, I said, but okay, so, you know, they're aware that I don't really tap into my bank account that from, except I stopped doing from abroad because, you know, Babylon thing, we have to get up to date with the thing, right?
Yes.
So, in order to repatriate fully and freely from them, because them no want us to leave, you know.
No.
Them no want I knife. No, man. Them no business semi-retired. I'm still upon my works. Them no want me to leave them things. So really and truly them a set trap. So guess the woman tell me, I asked her, how is that paid then? She said, oh yeah, it's going in the bank, you know. Oh, I said, no, I don't see no difference in my bank. That shows me that I'm on that, because I didn't sign up for it. She says, oh, sometimes they put it in with your pension. Rasta. When she says so, I say, what a wicked, dirty people them. Because I'm not sign up for the thing now, they're going to trap me. So watch this now. Boom. We go so my bank and check it. Yes, the bastard them, we see some extra money inside there. Boom. We call the regular people and ask the same people them, but their head office and ask them, can you please tell me, how does one go on this thing? And them explain to me, say, yeah, boom. Anyway, I know, long story short, they couldn't find a signature. So Babylon has created a scene where them start put the money in with my pension. So me now notice, say them give me that money there. No, them are accusing me saying that me sign up for it.
Okay.
You see me? So me see them down to very deep. So me say, all right, and them just tear up them paper. When them send me, one from Friday would say there was no signature on the headquarters thing, and them just making up some story to get me all psyched, all worked out and psyched. And them know something just come from Ethiopia, you know.
Yes.
You see me? Them don't know how long me that the country for. You see me? But them know something just come. So boom, them on my case straight away. But through the pause of the Most High, you know, we have to look to him for guidance.
Yes.
And you know, this is why, you see, I love it when His Majesty say, above his counselors, above his ministers, him have him confidant, man. His Empress Menen, his Empress Menen, you know. Him say above all of them people, anyone we want to read about, is she him dependent on the wise mind of Empress Menen, you know. And I, as representative of her, we are in this time. Now, yes, we have to feed the poor. You know, by the way, happening in Ethiopia, it's not just about the local people. The people are under pressure, some psychological thing. One brethren yesterday, 2 days ago in Addis Ababa, was telling me how his brethren and his sister were arrested when they was feeding the poor people on the side of the road. You're no longer allowed as Ethiopians, because I do it all the while. You see me? And I have never had any trouble. But I was away for a month and Ethiopia changed fast, brethren and sister. Do not think you can go for 3 months and don't come forward and find a different thing going on. A different kind of, you know, even the environment, the change. It's happening everywhere. Even in Sheshamani. It's you know, there's shifts.
Yes, a master plan being implemented.
You know? Yes, truly a spiritual holy land.
I'm going to come forward to the eye. I'm going to come forward to the eye. But I give thanks for the Ethiopia. This is cutting edge news, and this is the throne room. We always have to stay up to date with what's happening in the throne room as Rastafari people. So give thanks for the cutting edge. I'm going to come to the eye, Dr. Asantua. Before I do that, do any of the panelists have anything to say about what Mama Astali said?
Earlier you mentioned that the Ethiopian people are not permitted to wear the colors. I just wanted clarity on that. That was my question. If it just, you know, quick answer.
Yes, that's the fact. They're not permitted to wear the colors out. But when, you know, none of them. So when they see me, it's really a joy. People are always just walking. That's why I said, you know, it's important for me to walk and be covered in colors. And it's making the people get that pride forward. And here I have to share. I was sitting there in a hotel waiting to do an interview. And I saw all these Ethiopian youths. I knew they were some kind of football team or something. They were in green, gold, and red. So I jumped out of my seat in my car. Now there I am covered in green, gold, and red myself. And I jumped up and I said, Arengwadi Bichakai. That means green, gold, and red. Arengwadi Bichakai, Lezila Alom. orange body bichakai, green, gold, and red forever. I said, and they said, yeah, big cheers, right? Looking around them still, the football team, the Ethiopian national football team. My brethren, my sisters.
But was this something political? Was it something political?
It's something
Why
political. It's not.
about?
It's an order. It's an order from the prime minister's office. It's an order by the government. Even the shops, the people selling in the shops, they cannot put the display the green, gold, and red in the front of the shops. You have to go inside to see green, gold, and red in the shops. This has been so for about 3 years now. Okay, so the Ethiopians are not permitted to promote their flag colors or I have our flag colors as a line of Judah colors. We are allowed. I are allowed. You see, but many of I are not taking advantage of it because the worst place, I must say, the worst place where we're not loved for our colors wearing is Shashamani. They're very, very vocal and anti display of colors in Shashamani. So many ones, Father take me away at the time when they were being aggressive and violent and on I saying, don't wear the colors. They're going to paint over all the colors, all this kind of stuff that was going on. I wasn't in the country. And John Noel removed me at that time. You see me? So when I come from I heard that, I'm like, what? That means to say, I must have to keep wearing it every day then. So, but I'm telling you, it's really hard for the Ethiopians. Yes. Thanks.
Yes. Give thanks. Are there any other songs before we go?
Yes, yeah. I just wanted to say, Mama Ascali, thank you for your work and your trod and just being such a shining example to us and, keeping the creativity that preserves our culture alive through the Empress of Menen calendar and all the other activities that you've created around our culture. So I just wanted to honor Mama Ascali for that. It was an honor to meet her in England when I met her, and she's a permanent example of womanhood and living the life of Empress Menen and exemplifying the characteristics of Empress Menen. But I also wanted to say that with regards to the situation in Shashamani, the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated, we take it seriously. Members who are settled there and Rastafari community settled there, and we have people in place, boots on the ground, who are giving good direction, have developed great diplomatic relations, and without sharing too much, it is on at the top of our minds with regards to this land grant and how to restore this inheritance that has been given to us. So I don't want to go on too long about that, but our hearts are breaking for those who are losing or have lost their homes, and also their peace of mind and their sense of security by their homes being at risk. So this is something that's being taken extremely seriously, and we're pursuing diplomatic means for some type of restoration or compensation. Give thanks.
Give thanks. We are there any other songs? I'm gonna go
sister, I just wanted to say put a word song out there. Sister, I really, my heart feels so heavy, burdened when you put out the information on the web regarding what's going on in Ethiopia. And we know years ago that His Majesty warned against tribalism and how bad that was going to be, and we see it happening right now. Tribalism and the conflicts that's happening in Ethiopia. We as Rasta, we actually went to Ethiopia with love and light in our hearts to do the needful, for our people and for the Ethiopian at large. But then, of course, when we walk into that mess, that a wasp mess, I call it a wasp mess because when I was there, I was working with the brother from EWF, and I saw where they were bulldozing a lot of homes and making roads through all these people's houses. Sister Joan and all those other people have been there for so many years. And the only thing that really makes me quiver was the fact that when our Rasta people actually went to Ethiopia, we did not go collectively. And when I say we didn't go collectively, you know, I'm always about unity. I have a little group of women going right now, and everything is really collectively. I believe in unity. I believe in co-op. I believe in togetherness. You know, I mean, even if I live alone, my house is open open doors. As a matter of fact, I'm here in Florida right now, and you know, try to get grants for all these young men, you know, who are going to college. They're so bright, but their parents don't have money. So I make sure that I find them, get them in the keyhole, into the front door, into the back door, into the window, into the front door, wherever I can to get them in, you know, to get grants for them to go to school, because I know how important education is. And I want nothing from them other than they pass on the goodness, you know, whatever I do, you know, pass it on, because I'm not doing this, you know, I think I'm just inspired by the Almighty Creator. And once again, I see what's happening in Addis and Shashamane is that Rasta are living in Shashamane, but they're not living in a community. And when I say in a community, you know, I see the Nyabingi a church down there, and what I would have liked to see was people living in that environment, different homes within the Nyabingi church. So if you're going to kind of come kill us, you have to kill all of us. But if you're coming at us, you're going to pick out the ones that is over to the west, the one over to the north, over to the south. It's easier to get to people that way. And the same thing I said to the brother who was the EWF president before he went to see his ancestor. I says, you know, the way you guys are living, it's just not really the way Rasta should be living. You should be living in a little community or a little village. So let them come at you, and they better come like, because we're gonna come back to them like B, you know. And so it's the way that the council, the Roma people that in the area, or whatever they call themselves, they see fit to sort of do what they to do the you know, that kind of behavior for me was just really so obnoxious, and it was really never called for. Another thing that I saw while I was there was the fact that there is a lot of people there in Ethiopia that don't have permit. And even if I was living in a country for even 2 or 3 years, I would have liked to go and at least establish some sort of relationship with the immigration people, you know, so I could have some sort of residency. Because, and then again, the language, I know people that living in Ethiopia that does not even speak the language at all, because you go into a community where, you know, these tribes are living, you'd like to know their language so you can communicate with them and begin to feel that connection, you know, with them. So they see the Rasta coming in Ethiopia, and they feel, okay, Rasta think that they're better than us, and they're not really being a part of us. And you're teaching our children all this culture of goodness when we don't teach them that, and we don't like that. So, you know, and this is one of the guy from the Aroma Council I was talking to, and he was giving me his whole opinion as how he felt about the Rasta in Shashamane, that they would have liked to see a more unity among them and the Rasta people. So, you know, Rasta brought so much goodness to Shashamane. I mean, built schools and health centers. I mean, I remember sisters from New York used to go down there and have all these health care, that not just for the Rasta, but really for, you know, the Ethiopian people. And my sister-in-law had a beautiful hotel in Shashamane, to see how they vandalized the hotel and burned it down. I mean, the sister had spent so much years of life saving and put into a business that you know, she lost it, and it really sort of brings a very bad taste in my mouth, even to go to Ethiopia and live in Ethiopia. Ethiopia is one of the most spiritual places I've ever gone to, and I love the country. But because of the tribalism, even among themselves, you know, they see me as a foreigner, really. I'm a Rasta woman, but yet they see me as a foreigner. So it's like, okay, who dare you coming into my territory and want to take what I have? Not acknowledging the fact that there are a lot of people from the diaspora has gone into Ethiopia and fought their war, and our king, you know, definitely appreciated a lot of Black people who came in and fought for them and died for them. And so he decided that he was going to give us portion of land, you know, to come and live, us from the diaspora to come back into Ethiopia to live, or in Africa to live. And, you know, right now, the new president that is there, I think he's just gone bonkers. I think he's just mentally disabled. You know, I don't know if he's suffering from Alzheimer's or dementia or some sort of mental problem, but, you know, he seems to have an agenda. But I know deep in my heart that, you know, when there is rain, when there is darkness, there's going to be light. There's always day, and then there is night. Nothing stays the same. So, sister, I believe a change is coming. And I believe that there's some divine intervention that is coming into Ethiopia. So don't give up the fight. Don't give up hope. We are here for you. You know, I'm a sister that, you know, I'm always there to help whenever I can. I mean, I'm 70. I mean, I'm 70, but guess what? You know, I mean, God still has, Jah himself has blessed me. The omnipotent creator still blessing me. So when I could help in any way, I really want to. And I know when you had that cry for help to help build back the tabernacle and to see what happens now is like starting all over again. But let me assure you, sister, as I sit here today, don't give up the fight. Don't give up. Don't give up, because I know you're a strong, powerful sister. We are here for you, and we are behind you 100%. So guess what? A change is coming. A change is coming. A change is coming. Give thanks.
I give thanks for that. It's really a joy to have this powerful ensemble of sistering. We're going to set the table now. I'm going to go to Dr. Asantewaa. There are a few speeches that Empress Menen gave during the war. I want to start there, Dr. Asantewaa, and I want the eye to paint a picture, give us a historical basis for the reasoning, so we can build the reasoning nice, like how we like to build it here on the Marian Voice Network.
Yes, I give thanks to Dr. Kwasi. I'm going to try to share my slides.
Go ahead.
Let's see. I'm trying to now. No, it's not sharing for me, but I also emailed it to you.
Okay, I see it. I'm sorry. Okay. Hold on 1 second.
So I will try to keep this brief. But just at, you know, let me just say this. In the tribe of Rastafari, people have spiritual and mystical connections to Empress Menen, and that is so beautiful. And as I listen to people share the insight that Empress Menen and her meditation brings to them, I always learn so much. And I love, you know, Empress Ascali, how you said, you know, we are representing her in our time. My own work has been around her historical self and soul. So history by its nature is what we have evidence of. And so I look for evidence of her work, of what she did. And this is what I'm sharing here. She made 3 overtures of peace. And when I say overture, I use that word to mean she took action to ask, near beg that this war did not happen. That is the 1935 to 1941 war between Italy and Ethiopia. And I really think that in terms of the span of her Earth tribe, that this is where we see her most vocal, definitely most visible, especially on the world stage. So I don't know if I can advance the slides, perhaps yes. So the first speech that she gave happened in August of 1935. And for this speech, she, according to the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, there's a fast that happens before Ethiopian New Year. And so using those days of fast, and I think she added some to it, she went into prayer and fasting because war was already looming. Italy was already threatening. And really, the League of Nations was already showing their colors, like they were going to ignore the potential war crimes of Italy. They were going to not allow Ethiopia to arm. That's the most important thing. You know, when we look at this, don't forget that international and responsible countries belonging to the League of Nations did not allow Ethiopia to get the same arms, delayed their shipment of arms in Djibouti, and a whole bunch. So Empress Menen went into prayer and fasting. And post the fast, she called an international press conference. She invited all major news outlets, including the New York Times, sent a representative to Ethiopia, to the palace, for her to give a statement to them. And she came forward saying, you know, I have fasted for 16 days. I fasted and prayed fervently for peace in Ethiopia and the world. And I should like to appeal to the women of the world over to join me in my prayers. She said, I pray for peace, but if in spite of our efforts, peace should happen to be disturbed, I shall be the first to exhort my people against the invader. I shall do like the august Taitu did in her time. These were powerful words. Particularly, we can kind of put it in context when we see the war happening with Iran right now, and how every time the president comes out to make an official statement, everybody tunes in, because what is he saying? Just like he did the other night, you know, made an official statement. This was an official statement coming from the palace. So it wasn't a joke thing that the New York Times was there, and other major news outlets, including the Associated Negro Press, was present for this. But Empress Menen's full speech, we don't know what she fully said. These were like 2 short snippets that made it to the New York Times. Other papers didn't carry it at all. They rather focused on how Empress Menen looked. They were focused on the fact that she had fasted already, you know. Her face was drawn. She appeared to be weakened by her long fast and seclusion. And she appeared, they described her clothes to a T, that she was all in white, a silk white robe that she came forward to the press to make that statement in. Listen, it just kind of broke my heart. You know what I'm saying? Because here's this woman coming forward to give you something that you need to take into deep consideration. She's saying, I'm not afraid of war, but my preference is for peace. Listen, and if you bring it to me, if you bring war to my doorstep, I'm going to do as Taitu did. To me, there's enough in there that articles all over the world should have been written. But unfortunately, it was kind of ignored and swept under the rug, which is the theme that runs throughout all of this. Empress Menen is silenced. But I'm not surprised, because European men routinely silence their own women, right? So they definitely don't have respect for us. You know what I'm saying? So leaving that there, Empress Menen, less than a month later, having understood what happened to the words that she set forward, it face to face now with people, talking directly to journalists, and being ignored, and the story not being fully reported. She decided that she was going to do an international broadcast. Like, I just want us to take like that dull glow off of Empress Menen and put some majesty on her name. She was the first queen post Christopher Columbus in 1492 to make a global statement. first African queen to make a global statement. She worked with the BBC on September 11th, and I don't think that date is by accident. On September 11th, 1935, less than a month after she gave the statement in August, to do this international broadcast. And now, at that time, BBC had radio all over the world, and they may still, I don't know, I don't follow them. They had radio in China, they had radio stations all over Europe, all over the Americas, and Empress Menen worked with them, say, let my voice be carried forward. And I think the speech that she gives here is the one that we know, the one that has been widely circulated, Empress Menen asked for peace. And I think I have some of the footage here. I just wanted to show you, though, that on the day-by-day lineup, this is from the Harrisburg in Pennsylvania, the Harrisburg Telegraph, the newspaper. You can see under WJZ NBC that Empress Menen is slated here to speak at 6 o'clock. The world knew. I do not know how they then say Empress Menen was silent. She was insignificant. They knew. Her name was like something that we say, what we call conversation, table talk, But in this speech, she says things that we've all heard. She says, I feel the women of the world should hear our voice. War brings distress and trouble to mankind. Ethiopia did its best to avoid this outcome. Thus, we are free from guilt. And she appealed to the Italian mother, saying, these are your sons. This is your husband. This is your father. This is your male relations. And war is going to do irreparable evil, and infinite irreparable evil. Speak to them. Use your power as a woman to tell them that they should prevent this war. And then also pray to the Almighty God. She didn't only say pray. She said, speak to your men. Use your impact, just like you talk to the brethren out here, your husbands, to get the things that you want in life. I want the children to go to a better school. I want a better car. I want, you have your way of speaking to the men that are in your life to get the things that you need. She said, I want you to use your gravitas. Don't mistake it, right? But her speech is blocked. That's important to say. This speech never makes it to the world. Though it is sent to the BBC said their excuse was light. They said things like they didn't see it having any value. So they decided not to broadcast it. Later, they came forward and said, someone is playing tricks. The noises were not atmospheric. This is a direct quote from them. The last time I heard this was during the war, when jamming was done for military reason. So they were afraid of what Empress Menen would do. They were afraid of her impact. The only place that we know it was heard clearly was in the Netherlands. And even there was some atmospherics in there. But the women in the Netherlands organized and did what Empress Menen said to do. They started prayer circles to not have this war come to Ethiopia. So what would have happened to the world had Empress Menen's voice been heard? Now, let's fast forward to 1936. The war starts in October of 1935. And Empress Menen goes to the front. She goes to the front with His Majesty. I don't know where we get it that Empress Menen did not do what Taichu did, and she did not come on the battlefield, even though we don't have record of her on the battlefield. But she is in the war vicinity. She ain't hiding. She's not in the powder room sipping tea, waiting for the word. She's actually out with His Majesty on the war front, right? And she has been on the war front in Dessie, right? We know Dessie's a little to the north. She has to return because as she told Sylvia Pancras later, what, we woke up the morning after they sprayed for the first time that the poisonous gas and chemical weapon, and everything was down. Every cattle, every person, nothing was standing. The fallout, the disaster. Oh, she said we couldn't do it, right? Like we weren't prepared for that. We weren't prepared for people to come attack us one-on-one. But you know what? This one where you're doing something that's illegal by international law, yet we did not have a response for that, right? She returns to Addis Ababa to run the government while His Majesty stays on the field. And it is when she is in Addis Ababa that she makes the decision that she will not be silent about this judgment. that she will not be silent about this injustice, that she will go to the international press. This is her second or third press conference that she carries out. I'm going to let the world know what's happening here in Ethiopia, because they're winning, because, the world doesn't know that they're using chemical weapons against us. So read with me where she says, Addis Ababa, Princess Sahai, her daughter, gave an English translation of her mother's appeal, says Reuters. We know that the Reuters news service still works. The broadcast was relayed from Moscow. Empress Menen no longer wants to work with the BBC. She knows their tricks, right? I need to say this. Empress Menen and His Majesty had a theater built inside the palace that ran newsreels from around the world nightly. So as you're broadcasting in the United States, those reels would also be sent to Ethiopia. So they know what you're doing. They see what you're doing, right? And she was like, oh, y'all playing tricks. You don't want my voice to be heard? I'm going to work with someone who's not necessarily aligned with you. I'm going to work with Moscow to get my voice out and to tell the story of what's really, truly happening here. I can't read all of it, but this is a speech they suppress. This is a speech they don't want you to know. She says in key things like, at this most critical hour, in my country's history, we are fighting against tremendous odds. We are still undefeated. I appeal to the world press for an opportunity to state my cause. All those who respect the principles designed to regulate relations between nations must be stung to shame and indignation by the unfairness and the inequality under which my country suffered while the aggressor was preparing for attack. And since he has begun his criminal action, only when the enemy resorted to the most devilish means of attack, dropping poisonous and corrosive gases from the sky indiscriminately on men, women, and children and cattle, was he able to break the lines and secure an advantage. Empress Menen goes on to say, we are not defeated, and we shall defend our just cause to the end. I myself, as leader of this nation, presently, I remain here. The Italians will not make me run. That's how she ended. The press focused on, they didn't even put the speech. If you're going to find the speech, you have to cut it from so many different places, right? It is much longer than I was able to read here. But they said the press was more focused on the fact that her eyes burned with tears. That's what they talked about, like how they could see the tears welling in her eyes. But soft power does not evaporate in the face of hard power. She was using them both. And you may see me cry because I've seen devastation unparalleled to anything I've seen before. When no one's standing, when everyone's dead, when people have second, third degree burns that they're oozing blood from. This isn't something that I'm supposed to recover from. Right? And she comes truthfully, full chest, full throat to the media. But again, the atmospherics take this speech out. I want to find the slide that talks about this. I may have skipped over it, but okay, atmospherics takes this speech out. The speech is muddled again. It is only heard in parts of Europe this time and never makes it to the Americas. None of the American newspapers publish it. And Empress Menen really ends up unheard when she's trying to say something like the illegal use of chemical warfare is happening in Ethiopia. She warns them. And you will see on the front of the New York Times where she says, if you all sit here and let this happen to us, you're next. You're next. Trust me, this will not be contained in Ethiopia. A lot of times we share that quote from His Majesty, who says, the match that you have struck in Ethiopia will burn in Europe. Her Majesty said the same thing. Yeah, this is going to come to you all. Stop it now. And she's silenced. On all three occasions. That's basically what I have to share. You can stop share. There are a few more slides there, but we can get to them later. I just want all the people under the sound of my voice to know that this was an empress outspoken. This was an empress who maybe she was talking about peace in the first two press conferences. The second one, bombastic, in their face. She calls out England. She calls out France. You are hypocrites. She calls them hypocrites. How can you be in violation of the agreements that we had at the League of Nations, that no nation who's part of the League will be allowed to be run over by a greater or stronger nation? She asked them to stand up and be the people they say they are, and this was the blessing that she brought. But unfortunately, it was quieted. It was silent. It was silenced. I want to say she was not silent. She was silenced. Give thanks.
Thanks. Give.
You can touch that. I don't know. I'm not able to hear you, Jackman. I think you're muted.
Oh, give thanks. Give thanks. Can you hear right now?
Yes.
Give thanks. What a mighty presentation. I think that people can now understand when I say that there is one of my favorite guests on the platform. I think that they understand now why I see everybody smiling. So I think there's a level of understanding. Do any of the panelists have anything to say about that master class? Because I can't just call it a class. I have to call it a master. And she's a professor, by the way, at DePaul University. So you'd have to pay thousands of dollars to get that lecture. You got it free here tonight on the Lion Voice Network. Do any of the panelists have anything that they want to share?
Well, I can say that on behalf of EMAC, we have had Dr. Santoa as a guest presenter at our conference, I believe on more than one occasion. And I always look forward to hearing what she has to say. I'm almost envious of the knowledge that she has about Empress Menen. And I always think, okay, how did you find that? Where's that information? Because it's so enlightening. And what she said about how, this image of Empress Menen being this, humble, sweet woman, not that she was not, but she also stood her ground for her people. She was very much for the people of Ethiopia. And I love hearing the fact that, she did say what needed to be said when the time came. Yeah. So thank you, Dr. Santewa, once again. Thank you so much.
Mindful. Any other sounds?
Yeah.
Who's
that first?
I just wanted to say something, interject to what the sister had mentioned that resonates with me as an elder. And I have been teaching some classes here in Florida in my community center. And we had discussed Empress Menen, our queen, her mother, the mother of Ethiopia. And even though, when I look at the war situation right now and what's going on here in the world around us with Iran and Israel and all these countries that are at war, it just resonates with me to just think of this wonderful woman, although that she wasn't on the battlefield, fighting, how she stood firm against war. I see her as an instrument in the development, of the World Woman Association in 1936, and also the way she rallied women to come together, in many countries to speak against war, and how she believed all women should prevent war before it brings trouble and distress, and that they should collaborate with their voices and to avoid war before bloodshed came on both sides. I mean, I can't just, imagine what a powerful woman this was. And how she and how she know that women can use their voices to make changes, and how we have the ability, to unite and to speak out, and change the world. I mean, goodness gracious. I mean, this wonderful co-leader, co-ruler of Ethiopia, Empress Menen, she just she really gives me this feeling that women can transform this world, you know, by participating and negotiating in peacekeeping and advocating, you know, for feminist foreign policy. You know, really we can actually begin in our community level, because I am really into my community. You know, I'm a community activist right now here in Florida, you know, or also in women organization and group that, you know, we can, you know, sort of get to where we can talk about war conflicts before it really escalate, because we see how many of our children are dying. I mean, I just really, I mean, see women that really needs to come now to really sort of take on this baton and move it towards another level, and to see how, you know, I was thinking the other day of the United Nations with the war that's going on with America and somewhere else. And I say, how is it that they don't have women on this panel negotiating, you know, for peace? And the UN Secretary Council has called for women to be more involved in conflict resolution. And I can understand why they really want us women to be there, because most of the time when there's conflict resolution and in wartime, you know, it's always mostly men and maybe about 10% of women that actually ever get to be involved, you know, in solving some of these conflicts. And I suddenly thought about this woman in Liberia and how that war in Liberia went on for so many years, and how this wonderful woman that got together and started a woman peace and security network in Africa. I think her name was Gobi, I think is Gboee, and she was the founder of the Liberian Women Mass Action for Peace, and she was the one that founded this. And I think that we as women, you know, we need to kind of take more. We need to sort of take more action and really sort of try to be on more groups and panel in our community, you know, so we can join more groups, women groups that involve in peace talk. And that's, for me, is what I'm taking home from Empress Menen, because I love her so much. I admire her so much. She is my queen and my Rasta woman. Give thanks.
Give thanks. Give thanks. Michael, I want to hear from our youngest panelists. You see, I see a smile. You see that beautiful smile? Our youngest panelist, you're hearing all of these, and you're a mama. So even though she's young, she's not a youth, you know what I mean? She's a young adult, but how do you feel everything that you've heard so far, the works that you're doing in Trinidad? How do you feel about what you've heard so far?
Greetings again. It's my privilege to be here amongst this mighty full panel of, you know, empresses. And as a young empress coming in, it's my privilege, because there's a lot of information, a lot of knowledge that has just been bestowed upon I and I, because, you know, I'm young, as you say, so I'm still learning, and you know, every day is always something new to learn. And as Dr. Asantiwa said, I love how she break it down, where it is, where the war was concerned, that stuff that I wasn't really aware of. But she made it, you know, in a nutshell quick, that I could, you know, I could pass on all this knowledge to my youths and other youths in the community and persons around me who it is I deal with on a regular basis. So I give thanks for the opportunity to be amongst these powerful empresses. Give thanks.
Yes, also Dr. Santua runs a homeschool collective. She founded a homeschool collective, and I know that the art is very much on the homeschool page. So we're gonna make sure that the item connect and exchange information because she is a whole resource in herself. You know what I mean? So that's what we're about here. We're about building infrastructure at the same time that we educate. But I don't want to leave the eye. I want because you've been so quiet. I know you're not feeling well, but I give thanks. Can you just explain to our audience how you became involved with Empress Menen Rising in Trinidad and some of the works in the light of Empress Menen that Empress Menen Rising is doing right now?
So I became aware of Empress Menen Rising in 2023. I would have done the group request looking for empresses to join and be part of their collective, fulfilling the mission of Empress Menen where it comes to, we say, fulfilling the creed, the Ethiopian creed. And it's something that I would have been interested in as a youth, always giving back and looking to always uplift myself and the ones around I. So I joined this group and, we at Empress Menen Rising, we have we do community outreaches where we do stuff with the youths, for the youths. We just had our Empress Menen Earthstrong celebration Sunday gone, where we had, we do stuff for the youths. We had a little donation where because ones and ones came, they put forward donations and it was give back to the community. We cook, we share dishes among the youths and elders who was there present. And I like to deal with the youth. So my part was, having that little session with the youths where we did craft. And just inform them on things about Empress Menen and who she was. Yeah. Excuse I.
No problem, no problem. This is the battlefield. She's not feeling well, and she's here with us, sharing her light and her joy. Give thanks. I want to continue, or you seal up?
Yeah, I want to continue on a few words on, things that we as Rastafari women can do in this global crisis that we are going through here now. So we know Empress Menen was the mother of our nation, the wife of His Imperial Majesty, Haile Selassie, but more than just titles, she was a woman of deep faith and humility and unshakable strength during the time of the Italian invasion in Ethiopia, where there was under attack, and the world was in crisis. Empress Menen, she didn't crumble, as the Empress said before, she didn't crumble. She stood firm, she went into exile, faced uncertainty, and she remained a pillar for her people, and yet she prayed plenty and fasted and uplifted others during her own hardships. And that is a legacy that we should carry today, because we are also living in some uncertain times where there's a lot of confusion and instability and spiritual warfare across the earth. And the question is not just about what is happening, but who we are going to be in the midst of it all. And as Rastafari women, we must become pillars like Empress Menen. We must return to faith, not just words, but as a daily practice, where prayer, discipline, and connection is concerned to the Most High. So we must build strong families, because home, as we say, is the first government. The way we raise our children, that will determine the future of our people. And we must seek economic independence as Rastafari women, supporting one another and building businesses and creating systems where we could serve others, people in our communities. We must take charge of education, teaching children the history, identity, and the divine purpose. We must also stand in our role as leaders and nurturers, because we as women are not just nurturers, but nation builders. And we must never be in competition with one another. Always strive to, be united. Because Empress Menen showed us that power is not always loud, but it's in how you carry yourself in grace. It's about consistency and standing firm in everything that you believe in. Even when the world around we crumbling, we have to stand strong. So now is the time for us, the lioness, to rise and not just tell our story, but lead in this time here, you know? Yes, I.
Mightyful, mightyful. That is the youngest panelist. We always have to have the young adults represented. Anything we're doing, you know, we all feel young, but it's good to have people who are actually going through that youthful stage. And again, she's a mother, and so she's not a youth, but still a young adult. And for that, we do give thanks. I want to acknowledge musical friends with the $50 attribution. Blessed Etege Wolete Giargis Menen Asfaw Day. Give thanks. That's one of the largest single attributions we've ever received. So we may be on track to break our record from last year. From an economic standpoint, I was hoping that we would have over 200 people online. So please share this with your brethren and your sisters. Spread it out wide. Let them know that history is being made here. I just got an alert on my phone that the President of the United States has declared war officially on Iran. So this is going to impact the markets because, you know, consequent to this, they were going back and forth. They were vacillating. But several aircraft were shot down today in the Middle East. And so I think the rage of this nation is coming, that pridefulness. So expect the price of gas to really skyrocket in the coming strong. Expect the food shortage to come. And we know that most households is the woman who buys groceries, is the woman who is stocking the shelves. So I want to hear from some of the sisters in terms of the preparation now. Now that we already knew it was going to get worse, but now, we have tangible signs of escalation. I'm going to come to my attorney colleague and also the international president of the EWF, who is touching base with not just Rastafari people, but Black people of the world. EWF is a Pan-African organization. It's not just Rastafari as part of EWF. So from a macro view, how are you assessing what's happening now, Sister Cheryl, and how does Menen relate to the solution?
Well, absolutely. Thank you to my fellow attorney and member of the EWF, member of Local 12.
Yeah.
Just much Kwasi. I always want to mention that you are one of our members and a very active member as well. So thank you for taking us to the next level with regards to our media portfolio. With regards, I want to go back to Dr. Ashantua's talk. I have so much admiration and love for this sister. And before we've met, this is the first time we've been on a virtual stage together, but I've been following her for many years. I remember her giving her Empress Menen celebratory speech during the pandemic. And, the way she presented, even Empress Menen's reception in Jerusalem, and the way she presented it, it really helped us to understand what type of international figure Empress Menen was as she stood by the side of our great emperor. So I just wanted to, give thanks to Dr. Ashantua for her teaching, having that as a spiritual gift to educate and encourage. The speech that she referenced, that Empress Menen's speech to the women of the world, that speech is available. I've read the speech. It's available in a book that I love and I've gifted to people, which is and I'm looking at it now, the biography of Empress Menen Asfaw. So I bought this on Amazon. If you can buy it from a Black bookstore, please do so. But if not, you can find it on Amazon and you can read the speech and really feel what she was trying to put across. Also with this speech, as mentioned, she Empress Menen was most comfortable in Amharic, but she knew French. She studied English, especially when she was in the UK. But she had her daughter by her side. So I want us to really focus on that multi-generational impact and that passing of the legacy and role modeling of responsibility between her and her daughter. I don't want to mess up the spelling, the sound of the name, but Sehe. Princess Sehe was by her mother's side when she gave the speech and finished the speech in English for her mother. So we really need to make sure that we're demonstrating that type of leadership as women, even in these times where we're bringing the next generation along, role modeling to the next generation how they handle the responsibilities. In this book, there's also another speech that I love, which is upon Empress Menen's return from exile in Bath and also Jerusalem, which is her speech when she returns to Wollo after 31 years, which was her home area. And her return to Wollo, she saw that we're returning, we're trying to get things back to normal, we need to unify. And she explained everything about, didn't place blame, made those who were in exile feel the same as those who stood in Ethiopia, and said at this time what we need to do is unify, come together, because Ethiopia is great. So I really admire those two speeches, and you can study them and spend some time in them. Just talking about wartime, Empress Menen, as we walk into this territory of potential or actually declared war at this time, Empress Menen, first of all, one of her attributes, she was a trusted confidant. So she was not only a trusted confidant and encourager for His Imperial Majesty, but also for Empress Taitu. And a lot of people don't know that, but she knew Empress Taitu. They had a relationship, and she honored her commitment to Empress Taitu to complete the Covenant of Mercy Church. So being that type of faithful person is really what it takes during wartime, because everybody has moments of weakness, but when you can count on someone, it allows you to go to find your strength and then go back on the battlefield. And she was that person for so many because she had that encouragement. She had that strength. In addition, she was a warrior. So it was mentioned by Dr. Shantawa that they would use interference when she's giving her speeches. It's not just the first speech to women of the world, but also the one after the war at Wollo. They also had interference. The Italians would use Morse code in between to make sure people couldn't hear her. So she was powerful with her speeches, but also the spiritual warfare. She stayed in prayer. They had a tradition as a couple, as a family, as emperor and empress, to stop to multiple churches along the way. On the way, back into Ethiopia, stopping at multiple churches. For the coronation, stopping at multiple churches and just giving honor and respect and isis and praise. So she was definitely a warrior, but definitely a spiritual warrior. And when she got the news that they were victorious and the throne was restored in Ethiopia, she was in prayer at that time. That's how much she was in prayer. And when His Imperial Majesty went to do his tour of Europe, even before the time of exile, she requested, and because I refreshed myself in preparation for this with reading this book, she requested a replica of the Ark of the Covenant to be brought to the palace. So then she went in prayer. So there's levels to it too. There's levels to the type of prayer that she participated in. She, as mentioned, and I love what Sister Kathy Howell, who I've known for many, many years, is my beloved friend, said, spoke about her relationship with women and how she mobilized women. And that's really what's needed in wartime. It was present in her speech where she said, appeal to your men. But she also said, you prepare bandages, prepare ammunition, she encouraged women to find their place and their role on the battlefield. So we talked about the message. I wouldn't say she's a messenger with the speeches. She's an encourager. Even when the news came that His Imperial Majesty was successful in his return, she sent a telegram to him just so he knew and felt, I am with you. I am with you. So we need to make sure that wherever our men are, or now we have men and female soldiers, wherever our soldiers are, that they know that we are with them, even if we're back home or even if we're in prayer. There was a time when during the period of exile where they were separated and they met unintentionally at a train station in Paris, and they spent 2 hours together. And that was right before he traveled to Geneva to speak to the League of Nations. So just really being able to fill the cup of those who are going out to war with words, with support, with your presence is important. Her creation of, schools for women or schools for girls. And also she created a school for formerly enslaved people as well. So she just had such a huge heart for progress and recognized when people were downtrodden, but they need that spark, or they need just one tool to get them into recovery or restoration. So there's so much that's fascinating about the life of Empress Menen Asfaw. Even when you look at the journey for exile into to get to Bath, England, when they traveled, they went into Palestine and Jerusalem first on their way out. And then on their way back in, they came back through South Africa. She came back through South Africa and Kenya. So just really touching those very spiritual places. As we know, the Khoisan people are also some of the oldest people on the planet, based in South Africa. So that, again, that restoration and where does she go for help when they were leaving? Went to Jerusalem. And ahead of that, she had, with her own money, had bought property in Jerusalem and did great works with her own treasury in Jerusalem. So that was another home for her, that very spiritual place. I talked about how she's loyal and she's faithful. She was a fantastic hostess as well. When Empress Zetitu, I'm so horrible with names, but Zetitu was Empress. She was, for the most part, in seclusion, and she was counting on her regent and Empress Menen to be that public face and be the host for people. And she was an amazing hostess. She was shaking hands and greeting people when they came. She was preparing the meals, and she was known for making injera and tej and all those things. So she embodied so much of what is womanhood. She was an excellent hostess and stepped in for Empress Zetitu in those particular roles. Being faithful, she chose His Imperial Majesty over her family multiple times. In Harar, in Addis, multiple times she stood by Emperor Haile Selassie. I know Dejesmach Kwasi, you and I have spoken, and you said something really profound. And you said she might have been the first Ras Tafari because she chose him. I love when you said that, because it kind of opened up my third eye to another way of looking at their relationship, that she was the one who chose him consistently and knew his divinity for anyone else. And not to mention, like every other woman and mother and wife, the family responsibility. She took the remains of her grandfather and moved his remains to a more appropriate place, which was their homeland. She arranged the marriages and weddings for her children. Unfortunately, she had to bury one of her daughters at a young age, at the age of 15. She witnessed her sons being, with a sense of pride, being made Duke of Harar and Duke of Wollo and things like that. So she really embodies womanhood and leadership and quiet leadership with a tremendous amount of strength. So I'm so grateful to be able to learn more about her and her life and her different roles because it definitely helps me in decision making and also to challenge myself to be a better human, to be a better Rastafari, to be a better EWF member, to be a better daughter, to be a better mother. She is definitely an aspiration, and I'm so grateful for that. And that spark was lit with hearing the teaching of Dr. Ashantua years ago when she, with diligence, went through some of the history of Her Imperial Highness and Her Imperial Majesty, excuse me. So blessed love. I just wanted to share those things that kind of stood out for me. And in closing, I'll say, with this wartime that we're experiencing now, our prayer life needs to be in order. And our plan for, there's a talk I give, which is from survival to sustainability to sovereignty. And the work that we're doing with global Black food sovereignty, the RMOs in leadership, Dejamas Kwasi's in leadership, our Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated, locals all have or are starting to have agricultural committees that are also going to take part in this global Black food sovereignty mission. So we're happy to step into leadership as resources are going to get a little tight. We want to make sure that we can feed ourselves healthy food, have access to purity of seeds and other things, and be role models for sustainability and sovereignty of our people. So give thanks for these few words. I give thanks.
Give thanks, give thanks. Mightyful, mightyful. If you're watching live, please let us know where you're watching from in the comments. If you are part of the Lion Pride, make sure you check in, roll call. This is the global Rastafari Pan-African platform. We are 57 in the live. We need to get this number over 100 though. So please share to your brethren, your sister, call them, let them know, yeah man, the Empress Menen panel are going good and you don't want to miss this live. If you have any questions for any of our guests, put it in the comment section. And I want to let the people know that we have the greatest comment section on the planet. I am very biased. I'm transparent about that. But we have the best comment section in the planet. High level reasoning, very respectful, very loving comment section, and always informative. I'm actually learning things as I look in my comment section every episode. So big up yourself to all of the viewers out there watching live. I'm gonna come to the eye, Empress Carla. I want to get your perspective on what's happening now. We're in a time of war globally, hard times ahead. How does the eye, view Empress Menen in terms of her wartime vision, and what solutions do we have moving forward? And you can speak as an individual or on behalf of the Empress Menen Asfaw collective, what the item are doing. You can take it any direction that I want to take it, but where do we go?
Give thanks once again for the opportunity to be here. That's a very powerful question. And I don't know that there's any one easy answer for that. I think that I can speak on behalf of the members of EMAC. We're in preparation for our conference, which is going to be this Sunday. And, just in preparing for the conference and this year, we're going back over the last 20 years that we've been doing this conference. And in doing so, I've been able to kind of revisit some of the past conferences. And there's just so much information that's been given over the years. One of our themes one year was the journeys of an empress. And we each took a different travel that the Empress did. And one of the things that I learned during that study was, as Sister Cheryl was just saying, when she left to go to Bath, she left and went through Jerusalem and a few other countries prior to arriving in England. When she was in Jerusalem, one of the things that she did was she promised the church there that she would, if she was able to make it home, back to her home country, Ethiopia, that she would deliver to them her crown, which she did once she was able to return to Ethiopia. And to me, that says that not only was she all these things that we've talked about, but she was a woman of her word. And so in these times, one of the things that we have to look at is stand firm on what we believe in and follow through in what we believe in. Another thing that the Empress was a big part of was she was a patroness of the Red Cross. I don't know, as Rastafari, as people of color, that we have ever established anything like the Red Cross, but just for our people. I think that during these times, that would be something that would be very important to look at, because like you said, Raspasi, it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. And I think that we have to be prepared to be able to look at what Empress Menen did during her time, the logistical support that she gave, organizing. I'm sorry, I'm nervous and I'm forgetting my words.
No problem.
Organizing medical attention. She was administrator during the war. She took on some of the roles that His Majesty would have done had he not been, on the forefront. She was definitely an advocate for women. We talked about the speech that she gave. She was an advocate for women, and she was an advocate against war. All of these examples are examples that we, as not only Rastafarian women, but as women in general, can build on and use to go forward. It's a different time than 1936. We have a lot of resources right at our fingertips with the internet, with AI, and people have different feelings about those things. But I believe that if we use them to our advantage, that it's going to be very helpful in the coming years with everything that's going on. When I was thinking about tonight and coming on this panel, and what do I say? One of the things that came to me, and again, we talk about how through meditation you receive things. You have to be able to be still to receive. And while I was sitting still and meditating on this panel this evening, Proverbs 31 came to me immediately, because we haven't spoken about the Bible and the way His Majesty referred to the Bible. But when you look at Proverbs 31, it's almost like it was written about Empress Menen. Everything that's said in from verse 10 all the way to the end of the chapter, industry and enterprise, strength and dignity, generosity, wisdom and kindness, all of those things, a trusted partner, and the very last thing, a woman of God. And Empress Menen represents all of those things. And so first and foremost, we have to stand on, if not, and when I hesitate because people have different feelings about the Bible as well. And when I read about His Majesty, and when I read the autobiography and anything you read about His Majesty, there's always references to the Bible. The little book that I carry, The Wise Mind of Selassie, there's always references to the Bible. So as a Rastafarian woman, regardless of what other thoughts or ideas may be about the Bible and what it represents and what it says, His Majesty was a proponent of the Bible, as was Empress Menen. And therefore, therefore, the first thing that we have to do in these times is go to the Bible. And we have to understand the interpretation of things through prayer, through meditation, to receive the information that we need to move forward. Ovas, it's very spiritual. And so, I guess in answer to the question, one is we just have to be steadfast. We have to be steadfast in our belief. And if your belief includes, reading the Kebra Nagast, in reading the King James Version, reading a different version, personally, I can say that as I progressed in my trod as a Rastafarian woman, and now I spoke a little bit about it on the broadcast the last time, but I was in my mid-30s when I don't know if I would say I got the calling, because it was much, much younger, but it wasn't until I was in my mid-30s that I felt compelled to figure out what is this that's calling me. And that's when I began reading, and I began reading, and I began reading. Well, when you begin reading about Rastafari, initially, you don't really hear and read much about Empress Menen. And so my entry into Rastafari was all His Majesty, His Majesty. And it wasn't until maybe 4 or 5 years into my trod, into my, just reaching for overstanding of everything that was happening, that I began meeting the sister from EMAC. And as a part of that, became a part of the organization and began to learn more about Empress Menen. The book that Sister Cheryl shared is definitely one of the books that I've read, and you get so much information from. And it was thrilling to me when I did begin to understand the significance of not only Empress Menen and the woman that she is, but the significance of her being crowned alongside His Majesty, and the significance of that in Rastafari women today. We have a voice. We are, we're there. We're right next to Him as the female, and so in understanding more about Empress Menen, and in turn being able to understand more about myself, I finally felt like I was home. I finally felt like I had reached a point where I was comfortable with what I believed. I was raised in a very, very, very strict religious family. Well, somewhat. We weren't allowed to cut our hair. We weren't allowed to wear jewelry. We weren't allowed to wear makeup. We weren't allowed to wear pants. And, as a teenager, it was very difficult. As a young adult, I was able to kind of spread my wings and try to figure things out. And that was when I began going to a Baptist church. And I did that for many, many years as well. And as I mentioned before, it just didn't resonate with me. That's when I just began looking and searching. And I believe it was always Rastafari, but it wasn't until I took the step to really try to find out what it meant, that it truly became, started becoming a part of who I am and a part of my liberty. And so, I would just say that as far as this war is concerned, again, we have to be steadfast in what we believe and in what we do. Daily prayers, not just a prayer. And as Rastafari women, I believe we pray daily anyway. But again, I'm speaking to women as a whole, because we are an example as Rastafari women. But I believe that women as a whole have to be able to recognize the power that we have. And so, being steadfast and standing for what we believe in and doing it continuously. But then, just like Empress Menen, look for where we can help. Does it mean that we start some type of an organization similar to the Red Cross, where, we can pull together our resources to be able to assist these, unfortunately, I can say, these soldiers that are going to be coming home injured, maybe we start some type of center or something for our young men and women for when they return from the war. You know, we know stories of past wars where there's always trauma when you try to adapt yourself back into an everyday society. And so, you know, just looking at the big picture, we have to look for ways that we can bring our nation back together. You know, I mentioned before that I no longer live in the United States. I didn't repatriate to Africa, to Ethiopia. It's definitely a place that I would definitely live. I visited once. But, you know, with family ties, I just couldn't see myself going that far. My father's home country is Belize, which is a 2.5-hour flight from Atlanta. So I was able to go there. And, you know, I oftentimes find myself thinking, okay, well, whatever happens, you know, in the US is not my concern any longer because I've picked up and I've left that madness. But it's just simply not true. Even though I don't live there, I still have ties. I still have my children. I have my grandchildren. I have my siblings. My mom, who I mentioned earlier, is 99 years old. She'll be 100 in August of this year. Give thanks. And so I have to think about what this war is going to do because it's going to affect the people that I care about very, very much.
Definitely. It's serious. It's serious. And as the women of the movement, you know, the emotional strength, it really is going to come from I and I, you know what I mean? I think we lost Mama Scully. It was probably 5 in the morning. If she comes forward with thing, but we have a special surprise. We have the Blue Fire Empresses tuning in. I'm gonna bring in our Blue Fire sister. They have the Blue Fire eye treat. Mama Wallet. Isis.
Isis, blessed Empress Menen Asfaw, Earth Light, to the gathering, Rastafari, Ayatas, near and far, Rastafari people. We're giving thanks on Isis for her perfect example. All Isis, all glory. Empress Menen Asfaw, rule the roost right now.
Aye. Selassie, Empress Menen. Who's there with the eye? I see some royal empresses in the
Yes, yeah, man, the Ayatas there. Let's how I turn this forward. The item on Lion's Voice with all the history in them, the whole the panel. Let me see. I pray the ID jazz match. Hold on, my age showing. I'm trying to pan across to show the Ayatas.
Yes, we're celebrating the unity right now. You know what I mean?
Yes, the unity. I don't know where I can see. I want to turn it, but I don't see the option to turn the jazz match.
Okay, just show. Maybe just do a walkthrough so we can.
All right, let me do a walkthrough.
Let's see some of those.
True, and I have Rastafari, Sister Truda out of Georgia.
Yes, Rastafari.
And I have Dr. Shamara Wiley Hassan. Yes, the item know Mama Shamara well.
Yes.
All of the Ayatas are there. Sister Santua, Sister Carla, so holy Pavayatas on the panel. Yeah. They're on the panel. See the panel? Yes, I. Greetings. Yes, I. The item rallying and I rallying forward. Yes, I. Mama Tia.
Who's that? Is that my Mama Tia? Is that my Mama Tia?
You want to know if it's my Mama Tia?
It's your Mama Tia.
I need to say I am. That's the school mate.
Yes, I. Selassie.
Greetings and Rastafari blessings to all of the Ayatas as well as all of the lions who are tuning in to Lion's Voice.
Yes,
Give Isis unto his divine consort, Empress Menen Asfaw. Haile Selassie the First, more blue fire blazing.
Aye, hot.
Yes, I.
Yes, I.
Yes.
Yes,
I. Blessed love, Rastafari, Selassie, I, Majesty, Haile,
Rastafari, Prince Georgia.
Yes,
Yes.
Blessed,
Long
good to see I
time.
do. Yes, I.
The warrior. Yes.
Yes, I. Good thanks. Yes, I.
Sister Pauline, South Florida.
Greetings,
Royal
brothers
greetings.
and sisters. Blessed love to each and every one. Rastafari.
Aye.
I this.
Yes, did just much. And I had Earthlight Celebration for Empress Menen this light. I would love to show the workshop and I did and made the cards.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I pray the eye this phone. I'm not even able.
Give thanks. This is a celebration of the unity of Rastafari. We're coming together over land and sea.
Over land and sea.
And I love, you know what I mean, all of the matriarchal energy.
Blue fire candle blazing.
Balance the patriarchs, ancient matriarchs and patriarchs.
Yes, I. Every time.
Yes, so.
Yes, I is the balance. And I dealing with Bongo Watu. This was one of the readings.
Okay.
As Bonaji's book, Bongo Watu.
Okay.
Also, African Holistic Health, which is so important for I and I.
Yes.
These are the readings, the journal. We're using orange because the theme is the womb and the clearing of the womb trauma. So we're using orange, which is the sacral chakra.
Okay.
And the cards that I and I are pulling, my worth is not defined by youth, but by my wise mind and experiences. So these are 40 daily affirmations. And also Mama Thea made a special soap, and this soap is called Birthright. And the color is a combination of the blue fire and the red fire together.
Wow.
To make purple.
Wow.
So it's purple mixed with charcoal, and it is the soap called Birthright.
Is that my chemical engineer's big sister Mama Thea, who is a genius? Is that her product?
That is the same genius. Yes, she's still a genius.
Yes.
She's still a genius. She is still a chemical engineer.
I'm just confirming if that's the same Mama Thea.
I affirm it's the same one.
All right.
Yes. So and I joyful to link with the eyes. Give thanks to Jasmach Kwasi. Give thanks to all of the Ayatas. Greetings, Sister Cheryl. Blessings. Yes,
Greetings, my beloved sister, member of Local One.
Local number one from 1992. I am boasting, but I'm about 35 years on the ground.
Yes,
Ethiopian World Federation. True.
And Idor. Love the Idor for Ivan. Yes.
Oh, give thanks. It's joyful to see everyone. And this year is special because everywhere I look, I see ones and ones giving the glory to Empress Menen from the time of war when she saved Ethiopia to the saving grace of the Rastafari woman, taking away all scorn and washing I and I as white as snow. We give thanks for her perfect example. Yes, I.
Family, we just crossed 70. I think we can cross 100. Share the link.
Yes, I.
We are rising up. Also, you can give your attribution, any one of the sister in them, or to the Lion Voice Network. We're building an economic foundation. The Blue Fire I Treat is an
annual event. Yes, I. Recess. Like a sound about the I Treat to the Ayatas. This is year. Hold on, the Jasmine. This is the founder of Blue Fire.
And she's also a part of the Lion Pride and Patreon, and we reason that after the conference, she's going to come on the program and give us a report about this year. But give us a sneak preview.
Yes, so this year, as Sister Waletti said, it is all about reclaiming the power of the womb. You understand? And so also for our sisters who are past the childbearing stage, you know, oftentimes ones don't really reconnect with the womb after that stage, but there's a lot of power in the 50 and over womb. You understand? And so I and I are just coming together to make sure that I and I synergize that energy so that I and I as a collective, as lionesses, you know, within the den and within the pride, that we're able to guide the nation through that collective synergized power that is, you know, within I and I womb, I and I reproductive area. So for the next year, it will be 10 years of Blue Fire. And so that information will be coming out soon so that ones who've never attended an I treat can I pair for that. It's going to be monumental, Kwasi. I and I will come forward to reason about that. And if the eyes have attended an I treat, the eyes know what the energy is about. You understand? You want this energy in your life because this is worldwide, collective Rastafari woman's energy, and it's what the nation needs.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Rastafari.
Yes, blaze the Blue Fire.
Yeah, it's a joy to see the sister in them rising from different regions. Right. All of these organizations that are now rising up. I don't want the brethren them feel like it's a competition.
Never that.
No, but hold on, let me just say a quick thing.
Fix him out.
Don't feel like it's a competition, but brethren, don't sit down and make these sisters and them make you look away. I'm gonna tell you.
Making back now.
They will do it. They will do it. We can't have them doing all the work, and we are not there to.
We begging for the help. We begging for the balance. We begging for the help. Okay. Send forward the righteous king man them that walking in the footsteps of Kadamawi Haile Selassie the first. Rise up the righteous lion them that hailing their divine majesties in a balance and in a oneness. Send them forward. The Ayatas line up. Line up. Send them. Send King Man them the Jasmach Kwasi. Send the righteous brethren them.
All right. So brethren, the item are hearing. The item are hearing. Okay. This is mightyful. This is mightyful. I'm coming to the eye. Mama Catherine, how you've been there so quiet. How does it make you feel?
Greetings and blessings, Mama. How well? I'm just realizing that's who that is. 55-year-old eyes. I don't have on my glasses. I pray the eye. Yes. Blessings and love, greetings, honor, give thanks. And to all the ones I didn't hail. Glasses. Mama Santiwa, blessed love in the house. Rastafari. Yes, I.
Give thanks.
Sister Carla.
Yes, give thanks. And you know,
you're muted. You're muted. You're muted.
Yes, I have to say it's my time now to say it's been just absolutely wonderful being here with so many powerful sisters on this forum, and I just have to say good night to each and every one. But before I go, I wanted to share with ones and ones, you know, when this Imperial Majesty actually attend Empress Menen homecoming, or when she actually went to see her ancestors. He had some very wonderful thing to say about her, and in her on I think it was on February 15th, 62, when she passed. And I just want to share this with you, sisters and brothers, before I leave. This is the word of His Imperial Majesty. He says, All of you know her well, but she was more intimately known to me. She was devoted, religious, and didn't lose her faith even in a time of hardship. During the memory days of her companionship, we never had differences. We never had differences that we needed intervention of others. As Sarah and as Abram, so was she and obedient to me. Her wish was mutual until we separated by the Almighty. She assisted for the good of the young and the old, and the needed require no testament, for they are greater than thoughts and words. We have been extremely pleased to live long enough in a perfect union that enable us to see our offspring, our grandchildren, and our great-grandchildren. We are thankful to the Almighty for having such a long, uninterrupted union, which was not very common in this world today. There could be no more profound prayer for me to utter. And this was the word of His Imperial Majesty on February 15, 1962, about Empress Menen. So therefore, let us use the example of Imperial Majesty and his unchanging love for Empress Menen as a beacon. So we who are in the faith can follow after His Imperial Majesty and use his life as a guide throughout our life journey. And for that I say, hail the eye! Hail the eye, Rastafari.
Selassie,
Yes.
Rastafari.
Yes.
Give thanks. We're all honored by your presence and your testimony. It really has made this a historic and classic coming together. We have many generations represented here on this panel, and we give thanks for our elders who paved the way as pioneers, you know. So give thanks, Sister Kathy, and you know that you always are welcome. Anytime you need a platform to get a message across, you're always welcome here.
To all my beautiful, brilliant sisters on the forum, peace be with you all. And to my brothers, peace and love and light. Good night.
Yes, I.
Good night, Sister Kathy. Keep the fire burning.
Yes, I. Good night.
Empress Menen every time.
Good night. I'm going to give everyone a chance to say their final sounds. As we seal up, I give thanks. This was really a powerful panel. And we'll seal up with the Blue Fire. Sister in them, Mama Walete, one of my earliest supporters of this platform. Mama Walete has been there from the early Iowa, so I really appreciate the support, and Rasas Jazz and I Kush as well. They have been supporting the platform from an early time, so I am so joyful. I didn't know if they would be here. Usually they would have been on the panel, but they had the eye treat, so the fact that they reached out and came on is a joy to I. So we had the best of both worlds, you know. I see the bossy Airbnb there. I see the bossy Airbnb. I was them. All right, I saw them go on. All right.
Full joy yourselves.
Yes. So we'll start with the Empress Jalila. Just give us your final word sound, and thank you for staying up with us. I know you weren't feeling well, but you soldier it out. You have proven yourself on the battlefield. This is one of the tests, you know, when you look back on your chart, you say, remember when, you know. Give us your
Right
final.
now my body in pain, but you know, as you say, we soul and it out, you know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So all I still had to say, you know, now is the time for us to really rise, and you know, not rise in anger, but in wisdom, you know, and just fulfill the works of Empress Menen in these times. Yeah. Walk by example, you know.
Yes,
Yeah. Yes, I.
Give thanks. Give thanks. Short and sweet. Short and sweet. Empress Carla, your final song.
Yes, I just would like to give thanks for the opportunity to be on this panel with such amazing, dignified sistren and the information that's been shared tonight. I love that I always learn something. I always say that as long as you're learning something, you're still growing. And, you know, even at my senior age, I'm happy to be able to continue to learn. And so very grateful to have been a part of this panel tonight. And, you know, going forward again, as Rastafari women, we have to be steadfast. We have to, now is the time to stand in what we believe and stand, you know, firm in what we believe. And regardless of what's coming down the pipeline as far as the war is concerned, we still have to continue to do what we do. We're mothers and so much more. And so, you know, in addition to all of the things that we already do, we now are taking on the role of women in war, you know, very, very possibly. And so we have to be mindful of that, and we have to make sure that we're doing what we have to do in order to be able to sustain ourselves during that time. And so again, you know, just give thanks for the opportunity. I would like to invite everyone to tune in to our Zoom on Sunday. It's 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time will be our Zoom conference. It will run from 1 o'clock until 4:30 on Sunday on Zoom. And we actually are going to be broadcasting from an Ethiopian restaurant in Atlanta for those that are in Atlanta and are able to meet at the restaurant, where they'll be doing the official Ethiopian coffee ceremony as part of our conference. And then we are also going to do our presentation on our 20 years of the EMAC, Empress Menen Conference. And so I just would love to have all of you to join us.
Definitely. We'll make sure I share the flyer even on this intro.
I saw it. Give thanks.
Yes, and we pray that everyone is able to participate and be a part. I'm going to go to the Dr. Asanto, and I'm going to let Sister Cheryl seal on behalf of the Black peoples of the world. So if you could give us your final word, Sound.
Yes, give thanks, Jasmine. I just wanted to say in conclusion, especially towards your earlier question about what do we do now, especially how do women pivot, you know, in this, with the looming war that is happening, the wars that are happening on the continent of Africa that have been ongoing, and even what we learned from Empress Asfaw, what's going on in Ethiopia, you know what I'm saying? To remember it is within us to transcend this. And even when it is nerve-wracking and, you know, unsettling, keeping a steady head for the safety of ourselves, for the safety of our children. And we always know that we have the guidance of their majesties with us, and to not adopt the setting or the thought of fear, to not make fear be our motivating factor, to act with level-headedness. And I'm sure that when we put our confidence in their majesty, that our outcome will be positive. That's what I know. You know what I'm saying? And I know that it was already said, as Jasmine, she said at the top of the hour, that these things would happen, but that we could come through it as a people. And so therein my confidence lies. I just want to say, in closing, I want to give a word, especially in this era, and I know this is kind of off topic, but I just begged the Jasmine for an opportunity to just say this about the Empress Menen School. We all know that she opened a school for girls. And in this era of the Epstein files and so much that we're learning, that so many of the people who we thought were, nice and kind, that they actually have serious human flaws, detrimental human flaws. That I started digging around the Empress Menen School because, one morning I was working out and a gentleman who was working out next to me said, have you heard about the controversy of the Oprah Winfrey School, the school that she opened on the continent of Africa as the premier girls' school, almost, ignoring Empress Menen's contribution of opening the premier girls' school. And I hadn't heard. I was shocked. Like, what? It's just not a story I followed. I came home and started digging around that, and like, oh my God, there are unspeakable things associated with the school, and she really tried to manage that well. But what I am trying to say is that as I started digging around in the Empress Menen, about the Empress Menen School, to find out, were there any incidences where that level of scandal arose? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. What I did see was that sometimes, girls who were accepted into the school, especially those who were of advanced age, would return back to village life and go to marry traditionally. Even though Empress Menen said finish school first, they would go and marry traditionally. But one of the things I found was a statement from a gentleman who said the reason why even rich people don't send their daughters to school, and he was talking about in the 1930s and 40s, was because the teacher, you have to hire a eunuch to watch the teacher, so the teacher doesn't try to take your daughter as a girlfriend or as a mate, right? So there's a very real fear around the safety of women.
Yes,
and what we see happening still at the Empress Menen School is that notion scandal arose. That within her lifetime and even thereafter, creating a safe space for women. And once you create a safe space for women, it's really for the whole family. Yeah, but it was important to me to see that this wasn't a place where predatory action was happening. And where we had like, oh yes, 20 girls came up pregnant and at an all-girls school. You know what I'm saying? And we know, as I teach at the university and we're trained every 6 months, that predatory action is happening at American universities. 1 in every 5 girls who go away to school, parents, please listen, will come back with a sexual assault story. Right? 1 in 5. That's at epidemic levels. Wow. Right? And I'm just saying that, listen, Empress Menen put forth a model for the world. We can create a safety-first environment. That's why parents were keeping their children away or their daughters away from this Western education, because it came with predatory action. It came with over access to male and maybe possible female predators. Create safe space. Create a space where we're watching, we're looking out, we're vigilant. And this gets into how we survive this time. We are each other's insurance. We are each other's talisman and each other's keepers. You know what I'm saying? And when we say this in this space, that kind of thing is not going to happen, then it won't. In this space, children will learn. In this space, every family will be fed. We cooperate, we share our money, we share information. Like if you are not in a group right now where you're sharing information with families, then we need to get in such a group, right? That's how we create safety for each other. That's real community, even more than all living in the same space where we hate each other. We're all shopping individually. You know what I'm saying? We're all, educating individually. This is how we work together. Like us as a family, these 7 families over here, working here, we're going to lock arms and every child in here will be safe as far as every adult in here is concerned. Right? And so I see Empress Menen's work as a model for how we go forward. As a model for how we go forward. And in every group, as is often said on this platform, that, like food security, and I really, really believe in that. But, I just wanted to add another layer, if I can, please, that you can have, that's what happened at Pinnacle. You can have a fine community to live in. You can have food security, as Pinnacle was food secure. You can have water security, because Pinnacle was water secure. But they did not have security of persons, not enough to overwhelm the police and soldiers who would come in to trample and break down and burn, right? And so our goal our accepted goal as unity has to be buttressed by security of person. Nobody here will be harmed. Not soft harm, not hard harm. We have each other. And so I see it as a goal that we can set for ourselves. That we secure what we have and we work together to keep everyone in that circle safe. And I think Empress Menen leaves us that as a forwarding, a command, a forwarding, wish, go forward and replicate what I did in the world. Yes, give thanks. Rastafari, such an honor to be here tonight.
One of our Lion Pride said, studied and approved Queen of Santua. That was Zero Joan Henry checking in from Ghana. Big up yourself was Zero Joan Henry. And I'm holding in my hands here a book called the Empress Menen Chronicles.
Yes.
And everyone needs to get a copy of this seminal work by Dr. Santua. It's a compilation work. If you want a lot of information about Empress Menen that you didn't know about, this book looks thin, but trust me, it packs a punch. You know what I mean? You see how Dr. Santua comes. She don't come soft. She don't come soft. So, final words, we're going to allow International President of the Ethiopian World Federation, the Sistren, who His Majesty is entrusted in this time of war, because remember, Ethiopian World Federation was born in the bowels of a global war, the Second World War, and now we're in the Third World War. So we turn to the International President to just give us some final word sound, and I hope some encouraging word sound in terms of how we rally as Rastafari and Pan-African people in this perilous time. Also, before we trot out, if you want to give an attribution, you can do a super chat. We want to honor all of the people who gave attributions this episode. I don't think we broke the record, but we gave thanks for every attribution for Rastafari independent non-aligned media. As the item can see, we're working hard to bring the content that can help move us forward. We're bringing forward a platform that is all about the unity. You saw the unity demonstrated here. There's no division. We don't tolerate it on this platform. Bobo Shanti, Naya Bingi, 12 Tribe, whether it's Orthodox, EWF, we are one family. You know what I mean? Our Pan-African brothers and sisters, whether it's Kemet, whether it's whatever Hebrew, Israelite, we are chanting for the oneness, because none of us can individually get through what is to come. We need that collective security to overcome the perils that confront us. So we give thanks, one Almighty, as what Zero Jones said, one Almighty, one Jah. You know what I mean? All right, so let me turn it over to our international president of the Local 12, my chapter. We give thanks, Sister Mary Powell.
Yeah, give thanks, Brother Dejmach Kwasi. Thank you for everything that you do for us and creating this platform. What I'll start off by saying honor to His Imperial Majesty, honor to Her Imperial Majesty. And you're right, this work is not going to be done in silos. We have to, the return to Ethiopia by His Imperial Majesty Haile Selassie was after he found his allies. And, that was his mission when he went to Europe, is to find his allies. We are in the same position where we really have to find our collaborators, build coalitions within Pan-African community, but also find our allies outside. We closed out February as Black History Month. We closed out March as Women's History Month. And now it's for us to really think about, how am I going to be Black history? How am I going to be women's history? As we reflect on the example of Her Imperial Majesty, Empress Menen Asfaw, what is it in her that'll spark something in us for us to be great and for us to be historical. We can't just rest on our laurels based on being able to regurgitate and talk about what has been done in the past. There's a season for all things, and this is a season for activism. This is a season for mobility. We need to mobilize our people. We need to galvanize our people. We need to align around common values. The Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated Constitution and Bylaws makes it clear that there is gender equality. It is written into our Constitution and bylaws. All women and men can join the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated. Women and men can hold all positions from president to chaplain in the local as well as internationally. So we believe that this is an example for how man and woman should be working together to accomplish these objects and aims of His Imperial Majesty, but also sustain us and give us the resilience to get through these times. And I would be remiss if I didn't say it's time to go home. We've been talking about it. Let's make sure that we are preparing to go home. Ones who want to stay behind have all the respect for you, but those who are ready and gearing up to go home, we need to plan for that. We need to create a treasury for that. We think we have a model here at the Ethiopian World Federation in collaboration and coalition with other organizations, Rastafari organizations, Pan-African organizations, and also by finding allies, and also by diverting funds in Babylon in the West, to like we've seen with the building of Kasi, the Kweko Ndu Sustainability Institute that Bingi Sean has made in Ghana. So we're looking for grants and opportunities so that we can build a treasury to go home and build in Africa. So I give thanks for these words, but my future is not going to be here. I think the future of our people, when we look at the beauty and the resources and the strength of the people, everything is pointing towards Africa. So if you don't see the signs, you need to wake up and understand that we are strengthening over on the continent. They need our support over in the continent, whether it's economic and financial support, whether it's career development, whether it's boots on the ground, whether it's building and development. We're needed, and we know where we're supposed to go. We have our citizenship and our identity in Africa from His Imperial Majesty. So let's get ready. Let's gear up. Let's put away the things of the old and looking at our heroes as the only ones who can make things happen. I'm really looking to see our history makers of today, and you're welcome in the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated. Give thanks, Rastafari.
Give thanks, give thanks. Another historic panel. If you don't know by now, this is the Lion's Voice Network. We are committed to bringing Rastafari independent online media, to providing a platform where we can be ourselves, where we can highlight the positive things that are happening in our communities, where we can give the workers a voice, the lions and the lioness who typically are not seen. We want to give them a voice. We also want to put capital in the hands of our workers. So all of these sistren have been on the platform. All of them have individual works that they support or that they do individually. And we're asking, go and find their episode, go to the description tab, contact them, and support the work, because this is an active mission right now. War means action. It means that things are not going forward to normal. Just like after World War II, we had the emergence of the Bretton Woods system, the International Monetary Fund. All of those things emerged after the World War II, a totally different world order. We are witnessing the birth of a new world order coming into being in front of our eyes. And these are always turbulent times. And those who are not economically strong get they become victims in a sense, because they don't have the power to change. And individually or as separate organizations, we don't have the economic strength. It's only when we come together that we have that economic strength that will allow us to dictate and to be at the table instead of on the menu. Right now, we're seen as on the menu because we don't have the money to do development projects, to do land, to be at the table when the deals are being done. They don't take us seriously in that fashion, and they won't take us seriously until we come and show that we have the ability to say, listen, yes, you have a Shashamane development project, but we have $25 million and we want to do a development. Give us this section of the city. We're going to divide it. You know what I mean? Until we can have those conversations, they're going to do what they want to do because money talks. And that's the reality. His Majesty knew that. His Majesty operated in that way. You know what I mean? With hard cash and capital. You know what I mean? He had businesses. And we have to wake up. This is, yes, heretical. Yes, we pray. Yes, we do all of those great things. But if we don't have capital, if we don't have an economic foundation, we will not have the tools, the weapons that are necessary to fight this modern system. So I'm imploring everyone, give thanks for those who see the vision and who are contributing. Every mickle make a muckle, one cocoa full basket philosophy. That's how we are going to triumph over the beast. It's not by a benefactor coming and giving us millions. It's by each and every one giving the $5, the $10, and we put it together and we direct it. We focus it. That means when Dr. Asanto have a book launch, 50,000 people show up with that $10,000 and put it on that link. She goes into her bank account and see $500,000. What do you think she's gonna do? She have a budget for 1 or 2 years of her business where she can hire people, she can free other people. So that money is good. You know, you hear about trickle down. We don't deal with trickle down. We deal with ecosystem. You know, we deal with you feed the ecosystem. And the roots will feed the soil will feed the plant. You know what I mean? Everything is interconnected. So I just want to implore my global family to get active, to wake up. And to my brethren, you see these sisters smoking the chalice is not going to do it alone. I love it. Nobody loves chalice more than me. But you cannot build a nation smoking a chalice. And I tell them the truth. You know what I mean? It might give you a vision, but we have to put down the chalice, roll up our hands, and put our shoulder to the wheel. We can't let the sister and them just be out on the battlefield. That make us look away, brethren. So let us rise up ourselves and lead. You know what I mean? We have to lead in the front, and the sister and them can be at our side, or they can be the foundation, but they should not be by themselves. So with those few words, I say, give thanks for another successful Empress Menen Day panel. Mark your calendar. Next year, the Empress Menen Day panel will return. This is April. We're going to be talking about Rastafari month and all of the different aspects. Big up to the Coral Garden Benevolent Society, Rastafari, who had Bad Friday. Today is also Bad Friday in Jamaica, celebrating the Coral Garden Massacre. Big event in Montego Bay today. Big up all of the Jamaica family. I know enough of them couldn't be here to watch, but they'll watch the replay. So big up all of my Jamaica family. Big up all of the global family. Make sure you tune in for Empress Menen Asfaw conference. What day is it on, Empress Carl?
Sunday
Sunday
at 1 p.m.
Yes. Can I also share? I'm so sorry, just really quickly. Empress Menen Day Chicago will be on the 25th of April, and you can tune in online. You don't have to be here present. You can register at www.menenchronicles.com, and you can also get the book.
Beautiful. So, and maybe we'll have you forward before that time just to remind people. Any excuse I can get to get Dr. You see how I move? I'm transparent. Any excuse. But yeah, maybe you can come forward and we can talk about what's happening this year. So there you have it, family. Power panel, classic episode, and we will not stop. Why? Because the time has come for the lions to tell our own story. And this is the Lion Voice.
This is Warrior King. And the time has come for the
Rastafari.
lions and the lioness to tell their own story.
Rastafari.
This is the lion's voice. Give thanks and praise for the wonderful blessing that's been poured on me. Give thanks and praise. Jah use a yet an instrument to set the people free. Jah give her the powers to chant. Jah give her the powers to chant. Rastafari, the lion's voice.
Amina, the time has come for the lioness to tell our own story. No surrender, no retreat, we are Jaja soldier. Rougher than the streets, tougher than a boulder. Bigging up Lamb's voice. Now put it, I jolly for say that.
Greetings, this is Ras Tafari. The time has come for the lions to tell their own story. See? This is the lion's voice. Keep it locked, right here, sir. Ras Tafari said that. Are you satisfied? Wipe those tears from your eyes. I'm all alone, still you thought I was telling a lie. This is the lion's voice. Keep it locked, right here, sir.
What are you waiting for? Come together, calling from near and far. Know who you are. What are you waiting for? Rally up, it takes the dust. What are you waiting for? Ancestors paved the way for us. Yes, I am Ketis Oyonde, asking, what are you waiting for to come together? The time has come for the lions to tell our own story. This is the lion's voice.
African pride, root of all nations, boy. I tried with the lion, the Rastafari. Lion of it tried with lioness like I do. Empress on the front line, we need you.
Well, this is Medicine, the steady one, and you are now tuned in to the Lion's Voice Network. What the lion fought for do? Scorch them. Roast and parch them.
I will never stop, hail the Most High, and I will never stop, call Rastafari. Blessed love, this is Kushite representing for the Lion's Voice. We are here to tell our own story, Rastafari.
Empress Menen Asfaw. Oh, you're wrong. Universally unfold, be told. Oh. Blessed love, this is Itege Idama, and it's time for the lioness and the lion's voices to be heard. This is the lion's voice, Rastafari.
Yo! Blazing fire, yeah man, this is Rastafari out of Belize. And the time has come for the lions to tell our own story. Right? Yeah man. We blaze fire, burning the wicked and the dirty vampire. Yeah man, Rastafari said that. Blazing fire, lion boy.
The fittest of the fittest shall survive. My people, open your eyes. Wake up. Blessed love, this is Queen Omega representing for all lions and lionesses. With the lion's voice, we come to tell our story. Rastafari, live it. Hey, the lion's voice, Rastafari.
Yeah, WW3 of Steel Pulse, and I'm saying hail to the lion voice because it's time that the lion have its voice, have its own story. Says I'm stepping out here. Hear me now. Oh, yeah, the lion's voice. Raw.
I'm Nana Faraka. The time has come for the lioness to tell her story from her viewpoint and tell the world who Queen Omega is. This is the lion's voice.
Well, lion voice, tell them that's the people first choice. Lion voice, make make the lioness them feel nice. Lion vice, with the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion vice, got to show the people them the life. Lion vice.